Good morning, everyone. Futures starting out the day right in the green with the NQ really moving here. We're almost up 1% as we get PPI new numbers coming in with CPI expected tomorrow. Adara, do we have the print?
Yes, it's likely because these numbers came in lower than expected. We were expecting pretty sharp increases here. So for year-over-year PPI, 3.3%. That is below the forecast of 3.5%, though it is above the previous print of 3%. PPI month-over-month actually dropping entirely. We were expecting 0.4%. We actually got 0.2%. Now for PPI year-over-year on the core basis, this would be core PPI year-over-year, 3.5% versus 3.8% expected. Again, is a little bit higher than the previous print of 3.4. And last but not least, core PPI month-over-month unchanged on a month-over-month basis, flat, versus an expected increase of 0.3%. So again, some of these numbers did come above their previous print, especially the year-over-year prints, but everything was lower than expected, which is a great look, especially for an economy that's very concerned about these rate hikes right now.
Absolutely. Inflation in focus after the stronger than expected jobs number came in last week. We were flat, essentially 0% on all three major averages. The ES, the Dow, the NQ now we're decidedly in the green. The NQ up almost 1%, well over a 100-point move since we got the number. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Bitcoin also moving up here above 97,000 after retracing to 89,900 yesterday, defending that key $90,000 area. Lots to talk about today. Google in focus with the Competition Markets Authority out in England looking at investigating it even further. Tesla as well up 2.8%. Elon Musk possibly here his name being floated around as a possible buyer of Twitter, and Meta in focus obviously as that Twitter deadline continues to loom. AMD getting an upgrade. We'll talk more about that, but let's say good morning to the boys. Good morning, guys.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Wow.
Okay. I had a lot of short ideas on the list today, but that kind of blew up right there.
Get things unchanged in a second.
What was it? Month over month there.
That was a big one.
Yeah, I have December 0 versus 0.3 estimate versus prior 0.2. That's like going to be a big change there. The PPI going the right way for a change here, going to the downside right now. So we'll see as market comes right back up. But yeah, what a great morning it is to have been long overnight, I guess. You come in and you see a nice little gift here. But we did have a nice bump in the market starting yesterday afternoon. I think it was around lunchtime. The market the NASDAQ almost got green and the S&P 500 did get green. So they front running these numbers or what?
That program buying in the afternoon that was on Bitcoin and Tesla and a bunch of other names, like look, what it is, but like everybody saw what happened to Tesla late in the day. You saw what happened to MSTR. You saw what happened to Bitcoin in that last hour. So yeah, someone probably had a pretty confident idea that we might get a bit of a pop here. But the BTC, we're talking about this with Michael Noss, man. Like you wick that 90, just false breakdown again. And now we could be testing 100K. So, I like this one. Obviously, 96, it's just going to show 96 is going to be a bit of a level. So you're looking at IBIT, 96 is good. MSTR all of a sudden is setting up for a potential breakout. That's looking pretty good as well. Maybe it takes out a 345 area. I never want to chase a move at 833 on an 830 number that's surprised. I think you need things to settle down and show that we can hold a bid as well. But yeah, everything's looking pretty good. I mean, Tesla's up 3%, above 415. There's a heck of a lot to like. The key thing, though, is be patient, right? You don't want to get those happy feet and then, just sit there and then hold the ball and hold the ball, then hold the ball, then hold the ball, and then take a sack. You want to make sure you're primed and ready to go in the moment.
Yeah, that was a big play, man. I got the Kyren Williams touchdown. I got that
was out of the way early nicely.
Yeah, exactly. I got the Rams win there last night. I was thinking that was the best play was the Ravens, I feel like, and then the Rams was another quality play there. As now I guess it's going to be. So what is it now in the NFC? So it's Lions Rams, I guess, because Rams will be the lowest seed.
That's sneaky game.
Yeah, and then Washington versus Philly. Wow, another NFC East. Wow, Washington versus Philadelphia. Wow, that should be an exciting game there. I think Philadelphia will handle the business, but
I think they got them. The defense is too much for a rookie.
Yeah, but Washington, he's not playing like a rookie.
It's the Rams-Detroit game could be more interesting than people might.
Rams-Detroit game, yeah.
Because it's got the great narrative, right? It's got the Goff, Stafford against each other, traded for each other. So that should be wild. Of course, on Sunday what I'm going to be watching. But, it's going to be a fun one, man. We'll see what happens, man. I like the fact that you get what seemed like a really bad day yesterday, but when you take a look back at it, so many things bounced late in the day that you got right back to where we started, and some of them even broke out. So there feels like there was like some weaker hands got out of the market, and maybe some shorts entered in. So continuation is going to be key today. Yeah, that Tesla move was silly.
Come over, Fabian, right over here right now. There it is right there. So we just, the futures ripped up here into sort of, this is a 24-hour, but into sort of the overnight highs right there, and now falling back in a little bit. So I think we eventually, I don't want to say we're going to pull back all the way in, but I mean, Apple's on my mind today. I had written down 235 as a short. It just got to 236 on that bump. Was debating taking it, but didn't want to. But anyways, there we go, man. A little bit of a cooler PPI number, and coming back into the downside now. Remember that 21,000, right? That's what just blasted right through right there. That was right exactly where the 50-period moving average was. So, something to look at. That is for sure. A couple super chats. As soon as Ramin gets in, I'll let her know. Ram it. If you know how to ram it, ram it. Ram it, ram it, ram it, says Long This. Well, the shorts got rammed a little bit right there and coming back in. And then Bueller? Where is this guy? Skipping class again? Bueller? All right.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good one. I love that car they're driving. That's a great movie. I've had the kids watch that a couple times. I think it's hilarious.
It's a classic.
Just so, like, the guy, Ferris Bueller there, fools his parents, fools everybody, calling in sick. It's like, it's all of the, and thanks, Kyle, for that. It's all of the typical, like, plays that you make, He puts, like, the thermostat up, or the thermostat, what do you call it? We measure
thermometer.
Thermostat.
Everyone's
thermometer
done that.
up into the light bulb, and he heats it up.
Y'all know you've done that
stuff.
at least once in
It's
your
like,
life.
My stomach. I'm too sick, and he has a recording going.
All the stuff that would not actually ever fool anybody.
He breaks his girl out of the class. It's just like it's a great show, great movie. So
that's a good.
War Games. You know what I'm watching?
War Games
Beast
is a good
Games. You're watching Beast Games is setting all the records on Amazon. It's like
I still haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah. It's like a real life Squid Game, but not really. So.
Well, obviously they're not killing anybody.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole fun of it.
It'd be a bit of a problem.
That's the whole point of Squid Game.
Couldn't do that.
My daughter goes like, "Oh, Squid Game is real?" I was like, "Yeah, it's real. It's a real show."
Well,
it's a real show.
No, there was a real show, Squid Game.
Yeah. She sees it on Roblox and all that.
They just faked everybody.
Her 13-year-old brother knows.
Still disappointed.
I got to tell him about Alice in Borderland.
Yeah, I just felt that was in that one. Like
Apple
the second season
$1
held it pretty well. Even NVIDIA just pulled back a little bit.
The market's given back half so far of that whole move.
NVIDIA pulled back a buck.
So I have a canceled order right now in my account for Apple 236. Like I was going to just punch into it, and then I thought to myself, Sean, you've done this before where you fight the trend and then it just continues to do this. But that 236 was right. I didn't have a reason to do it other than it was just that bump up. And, we had a level there. 237 was better. Darn. Oh, man, too bad. Okay, anyways, market go up, market go down. We'll be here to trade it for you. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Brendan will be here a little bit later, but right now we have to, share, like, all of that stuff. I think I got to fix this mic. And let's go back to the desk now. Blessed to have Adara and Sharif together back again.
So in case you're just joining us right now, getting producer price index PPI, which measures wholesale inflation. It increased 0.2% in December, below what the street was expecting, which was a 0.4. The core figure, which excludes food and energy, rose 0.3%. The markets reacted to that, selling off now 21,000 here on the NQ, an area resistance level that we had rejected off or bounced off multiple times in late January, and then again in late December, then in early January, using it right now as a resistance level, so we'll keep an eye out on that. All right, let's talk a little bit here about Palantir. Interesting day for Palantir yesterday. An aggressive sell-off, bouncing today, up 2.75%. Looks like Aunt Kathy Woods, obviously from Mark Invest, was selling a little bit here. Adara, how much she sell?
She did sell $9.1 million worth of sales. She sold roughly $15 million last week as well. So it's the second week in a row. We're getting pretty sharp selling from ARK Invest. That was roughly 140,000 shares, I think just above 140,000 shares. Also, Jefferies actually reiterating an underweight rating and a $28 price target as of last night, just saying that they believe Palantir is severely overvalued. So PLTR really could not catch a break, it seems like, right now in this market. Though the 30-minute chart, we have this sharp downtrend, but it looks like we could be making a little bit of a bottom, slightly higher low, and a gap up today, despite the fact that, as we just said, there's not any positive individual catalyst here.
All right, they reported the day that they're going to be reporting fourth quarter earnings over here. So it looks like they will be reporting Monday, February 3rd, 2025. So it looks like it's going to be in the morning. They're going to host a webcast as well for the results at 3 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. So they announced today that the results for its fourth quarter and fiscal year end ending December 31st, 2024, they're going to report earnings Monday, February 3rd this year, guys.
Yeah, look, Palantir, if things were a little bit stronger, I'd be actually thinking about that 70. Like maybe 69 to 70 is a bit of a fade, but if we don't actually get there, you gotta respect Palantir. First of all, I don't know about the whole like feeling bad for Palantir. It's kind of a healthy pullback in here, and I still think you can head to the $60 level, especially if we're unable to sustain the rally that we've already got. Just zooming it out a bit more, you can see the 50 periods right here at 67. That's a simple on the daily. So 67, I mean, it's Friday's close. Ideally, you'd break this one out, and then I think you can go 67 to 70 here. But you have to wait for the open because it's entirely possible. I think we've seen this story before. Like, we get to 9:30, and Palantir is back at like $65. And then, you know, you have to maybe change your bit of a plan. If it's holding on to VWAP 67, a hole in the open up there, seems like it heads to that 70, which I still think is a sell because there was so much buying support at the 70 level that it gets there the next time. I'm looking for it to turn into a resistance for sure to the upside. So let's let this one settle down a little bit. Still think in a general sense, it feels like it wants to get to that $60 level, but you don't usually have, you know, consolidative days like this without it becoming a little bit more range bound. So you can see like prior resistance is at 65. Usually that's what I'd be saying. You know, you just come back into the resistance level and buy it, but we're much closer to a potential break from 67. We'll have to watch this one at the open. I'm going to have Tesla on the mind and MSTR and oddly enough Intel today because Intel just keeps bouncing off the same level. And if we can stay strong, that looks like a continuation play. So I don't know if this one's going to creep in. I just feel like if the market's super strong, I know I'll be there at 70 though.
Yeah, so look, I mean, there is going to be some selling. I mean, with this pressure on the market a little bit here, what winds up happening is in order to raise some capital, possibly to put into some indexes or who knows what stocks these guys are buying right now. What's the next Palantir, right? I mean, this is going to give back. And we've talked about, I'm going to get up a better chart here on the daily. Look, insider selling, Cathie Wood, she was long down here, selling some up here. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It broke through the 50-period moving average. We've seen this happen to many names. You have to believe, like, oh, here she goes. Right. Yeah, not happy. Yeah. All right. Okay. But at the end of the day, $64. You know, we wrote this down yesterday. $60 possibly incoming would be a good level to start to buy. That's still 10% down. I don't know if we're going to wind up getting that. That was a real nice move. And realistically, the only thing that fell apart was one day. It's whatever this day was, the 7th right there, where we went from 75 down to 70 and then gapped that one day lower. Like, besides that, sure, we've gone from 68 down to 65 again right into here, but it can hold and it can get back. So I think you have to like the story with Palantir. You have to understand, you know, what they're involved with, right? How their AIP is supposed to be something that is unreplaceable, and that is to be able to you know, facilitate your data into Foundry or into Gotham to analyze it. Big data, right? That's what these governments and that's what, you know, the military and I mean, even the corporate, we know that they've expanded some of their infrastructure to facilitate corporate businesses as well, right? And so I like the story, I like the space, and I think you just got to let it settle down, and it's up 2% and a bit today. And I think that, yeah, it dipped by into, we always like the 200 period. So 65 and change, 65.50, yesterday's close. Nice little ramp up into the close yesterday as well. So I think on some strength here today in the market, we'll flip up our hat a little bit here and go from short bias maybe to long, especially if the market can hold VWAP. So yeah, I mean, I like the stock, obviously, and 65 and change, I think today is worth it on a dip. Bitcoin's interesting to me too, because Bitcoin right now at 96 and change. I'm trying to watch IBIT. Yesterday we had 53 as a short, and that short yesterday at 53 was the high of the day right there until, as we said, at the end of the day, we got a nice little bump everywhere. I'm looking for that kind of pullback into this level here today. That was, again, you know, we write down the ideas before the PPI number. If the PPI is like the other way, then you probably do fall into here. So let's see if the market can hold. Again, maybe 54 or so for IBIT, but we're going to get to crypto.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to say that it was moving quite nicely as well, following almost exactly the futures, right? We had Michael on the other day, like, look at this bump up in the future. And we've noted this. I mean, like I was saying before, when I used to trade GBTC and Ethereum and all that stuff, I would just watch the NASDAQ and just play off of that. So it's a 10-year-old theory, but, you know, straight to the upside, come back in, hold VWAP, bump. Like, here's Bitcoin, straight to the upside, come back in, hold VWAP basically, and bump. So, yeah. Anyways, all right. What are you on? Oh, yeah, that was.
I'm just watching this Firefly. There's a few. Look, there's some small cappers running around a little bit here. VRME is running and looking pretty solid. Firefly's up 90-something%. And I know Sharif will be geared up for a few of these ones in the afternoon show. But yeah, you gotta try to watch everything. I like the ones that can hold on to VWAP. Start putting in some higher lows and not do the APLD did this. Although it got to VWAP. I never really like these when they completely dump almost all the way back in the pre-market. So APLD definitely deserves our watch. Volume's fantastic here. But this, Firefly, VRME, those are some small cappers to watch if that is your cup of tea, which I know it is for Sharif.
Again this morning, Neil, is DJT, Donald John Trump. Not a small cap gapper, but certainly trades like one and was trading like one yesterday, up 21%, down this morning, 6 1/5. We really don't know what the catalyst was. Widely speculated that it was running up in anticipation of inauguration, which is January 20th. But if we have a look here at the technicals, we were putting in higher lows incrementally over the past, couple of months, with yesterday decidedly breaking through that $40 top, topping out though, or actually closing near the highs of there at 42.80, 42.75, down though, as I said, 6.15.
When this began running yesterday, I did, as always, I look on social media if I can't find an actual technical catalyst. Beyond the excitement here for Donald Trump's inauguration, people online were very excited. As you mentioned, we have these like slightly higher highs, right, and higher lows. And basically what they liked here was this range around 34 at the base, top of around 37. Once we broke that 37, the social media furor here and the fervor really grew and intensified. And I think also with DJT, it's worth noting here, there is, I guess, a bit of a meme following for this, much like what you see with GameStop. The amount of social media mentions we were seeing when this broke yesterday morning did rival that of what you see during GameStop spikes. And Donald Trump's net worth increased by almost $1 billion as of yesterday, $865 million. Yesterday, he is the company's majority shareholder, though, of course, some of that probably dropped because, as you mentioned, we're gapping down today.
Everybody.
Randy in the house with the special delivery, of course. So we're locked and loaded. Tesla booming.
You own some Donald J. Trump shares? Or? Yeah, not.
Come on.
Probably not the end of the world if you do not. But we talked about this yesterday. I mean, it was just like we had said it. I mean, yesterday during the afternoon show when this run happened, it was like, you just got to take advantage of it. Like when you're in, you're in. And it's just, as Adara said, slight of any real news here. We know the inauguration is happening on January 20th, which is a week yesterday, which the market won't even be open. So that could be something to consider as well when you're thinking about getting a bump on anything that might happen that day. I don't think anything's going to happen that day, but if you're excited about what Truth Media or Truth Social is going to bring, especially with a sitting president, I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity, but you still want to play sort of the cautious game, right? I mean, you're not even that bad. Even though you're down 6%, it was such a nice day yesterday that you're still in the money if you had bought it early. So I wonder if the same thing's going to happen again here. And that is that you're right at this pre-market high again and right into some of this level. So if you just raise it up here and you get to $41, all of a sudden you're right here, right now. So I think that like this break right there, breaking, there's the break and hold. Yeah, I mean, I think if there's going to be any breakout play today, from what I don't have anything written on here as a breakout. This could be the one right now, honestly. 41 bucks. There's probably other ideas too. KB Holmes has a great chart. This one, 41 bucks to break long. I think it can go. So let's wait to see. I mean, as Adair mentioned there, all it takes is a couple social media posts or a couple million of them, and then this stock can get going. So we'll wait to see here. I like the 41 break long. That's where I'd be playing, and make sure that you pay for shorts if you're looking to go short, because may not be available.
Well, I actually just reminded myself that I wanted to pay for Funware shorts, because if GameStop said yesterday, if GameStop does what it did, if it does what it did yesterday and then has any kind of like a curl worth having, like a rejection or a trend reversal, whatever it might be, if Funware spikes on sympathy to it, then I want to be able to fade that one. And obviously, we showed this yesterday on the 15-minute. Funware has a pretty distinct top over $6. Like every single time it's gotten there, it's been like mini breaks and then fail. So mini break, fail a quarter, fail 15, fail 5, fail 5. So if it does it again today, and DJT is doing any kind of a curl or showing signs of weakness, it's fun that I want to jump in the short of. DJT will just try to look for the long setups. It doesn't look great yet. It kind of stinks. It didn't really get much of a bounce on that rally, but if you zoom it out to the daily chart, above like 38.8, it still looks pretty good. Like the prior high in here at that 38.8, I think as long as it holds on to that, look for a trend to the upside. If it reverts it, I'm going to go pay for those Funware shares shortable now, because I'm pretty sure. Actually, I should check to make sure. Maybe we have them free. You never really know. See? And that's why you check, because we have Funware shares shortable for free here at Real Trading. And I thought I was going to have to pay for locates.
Funware, yeah, it's a name blast from the past there. We like that one. Again, another one. Remember, trade the warrants too. I don't know. Those used to be
crazy. If there's a halt, yeah.
Yeah, those used to be crazy hot if and when halted. But I mean, DJT didn't halt yesterday. I don't think it will here today. But yeah, another exciting name. Look, just keep your ear to the ground with all these posts, right? I mean, Adair will be there on the desk. And if you found the stream, great. Like, subscribe. We'll have live market updates as the market lives and breathes right now. If we hear anything, we got it. We have Adair on the desk there confirming any stories coming into us with any of those. We'll be putting some trades on. We have our trade ideas, and we have a watch list, free watch list. Go grab that, get the QR code, get the link in description. So, all right, let's go back to the desk and see what's up.
All right, guys, let's talk some small cap gappers, because there's a few today in double-digit territory and some ones on the precipice of going to double-digit territory. Let's talk about STAF. This one started moving yesterday in the aftermarket. It's trying to hold that level of around 350. Keep your eye on this one, up 57%. But the big winner today, NMHI, up 138%, trying to hold the volume-weighted average price here at 270. Keep your eye on this one with the pre-market high of 340. AIFF also in focus, 88%, trying to hold again VWAP at that 350 with a 410 high. But APLD, Adara, up 20%, and they've got a headline.
They do, and I really want to remind everyone, APLD could be in watch today as well ahead of its earnings. They're expected to report after the bell. NVIDIA was previously involved in financing this name, so APLD, much like, for example, SoundHound does have that NVIDIA connection that I think is of note. This morning here, they announced they secured a $5 billion financing facility through Macquarie Asset Management. Why this is of note is because APLD, not as small of a capper as some of these other ones mentioned, but they do have an under $2 billion market cap. So $5 billion in financing is nothing to scoff at. They also have about a 30% short float. Also that NMHI, you mentioned Nature Miracle Holdings. They have a catalyst as well here announcing up to $29.7 million in financing from an unnamed institutional investor. But NMHI is also of note. They have an under 1 million share float and about an 18% short float. So lots of heavily shorted names floating around here today.
Small caps already strong, guys, here with the Russell 2000 already up 0.4%, outperforming the other three major averages.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
That's right. You better hit that like and subscribe. See what I did to that tank over there? We're not playing around, man.
That tank.
With my fists. No.
Yeah.
Poor
tank.
I'm pretty sure the A-team ain't blowing up no tanks, man. They didn't have that kind of ordnance. In the movie, things got a little bit out of hand, but in the TV show, it was a little bit more legit.
Drives tanks for fun over here.
Yes. Or at least maybe
You ever been in a
Cybertrucks.
tank there, Randy? You ever been in a tank? No.
You seem like the kind of guy who would have at least driven. Because other places, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
There's got to be somewhere. There's got to be
Well, you're not
somewhere.
part of the
There's got to
military,
be
man?
somewhere in the United States, it's the U.S. man,
yeah.
where you can go drive a tank
Yeah.
and pay
Oh, yeah.
somebody to drive a tank.
Sure, Nevada.
You wouldn't
for
want to
sure,
do that?
Vegas.
Oh, it'd be.
Just roll over some cars and stuff. Like, I'm sure they won't let you blow anything up though. They probably wouldn't let you do that.
Oh, then it's so
No,
fun.
I don't think you could just start aiming like missiles at people.
I'd be down for that.
I'd be
At
down for
things.
that.
But you don't need that. You can just get the Cybertruck. That
But
thing is a
would you
tank.
rather do a tank or a monster truck, like in those monster truck rallies?
A tank.
Tank, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I grew when we grew up, it was Bigfoot was the big blue one.
big Ford.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was the jam. I always wanted to take that for a ride, but never happened, obviously.
Fun at the time. Have a look at XOM.
We were looking at XOM yesterday.
Energy was good yesterday.
Oil is on one recently. The CL contract right there. But yeah, XOM. We had talked about this yesterday, actually, Randy, and it was basing down here. And I think if you go back into where was it, April or so, you did have some nice bases in and around 106. Yeah, there it was right there, June. So yeah, could possibly hold this area. It was a little tipsy-turvy. This is
Tipsy-turvy.
yeah,
Topsy-turvy?
both.
Yeah.
So right into here, oil right now, this is just, crude, is right now up for, I mean, this is quite the run from $69 up to 78. And if you go all the way back, we're at 4-month highs or so. This is September right there. So, actually August 13th is what we're bumping up to. And we're bumping up to that October high as well. So I always thought that a stock like XOM would sort of go with the ebbs and flow of oil prices. But as you can see, it's still remained low here. So maybe there is some pickup coming.
I think so.
In XOM. So
Why is it not moving? That's what I'm trying to figure out. CVX is moving.
yeah, and we had Occidental as well. So yeah, I think some ketchup play there. Ketchup and mustard. There. What do you have on your burger normally? Mustard. Mustard. Yeah, not get rid of the ketchup.
No relish?
My son yesterday
Diced
said he
onions?
doesn't want ketchup anymore.
Got a diced onions, got to have.
Diced? I like them fried up.
Fried
I
onions.
don't.
If you're taking another
Caramelized.
level up, you caramelize, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I don't really like fresh onions too much. Like the red onions, I'm not a huge fan of. No, it's something about them. Indigestion. No. All right, see ya. Randy got called away.
He gone. But that XOM is weird because Oxy's been doing fine and Chevron's almost 10% off of its bottoms, recent local bottoms. So the energy names are definitely going to be in play. Watch out for that adjacent here, Constellation. Remember Constellation breaking out like crazy on a deal a couple sessions ago? Well, this could be spicy. The market's going to be strong, but if this loses the bottom from yesterday, a continuation would be interesting to the downside underneath. It's like 279 here on Constellation. Super bullish stock, obviously, on the daily chart, but that was one heck of a reversal that we saw. And not really it's got a little bit of a bump, but still within the range. This could be worth a watch. If it loses 279 today, there's a hefty bit of a gap underneath.
All right, let's go back to the desk guys. We'll get starting. Oh, there's our watches, by the way. Make sure you scan that if you're watching it right now. I was waiting for that thing to get up there. It is free, 99. We got to make sure we don't say 3. 100% free, the best watch list in the business, curated by those two individuals up there, and it's absolutely been amazing.
It's hot fire.
Yeah, it's like I just get in and I just sit here like that meme where the guy's in the is it Pablo Escobar there? He's in the empty pool, and he's just waiting for something to happen. That's like me waiting for the watch list every day. It's like, all right,
refresh that email.
when's it coming? Adara, send it, Adara, send it, Adara. But go grab it, man. The watch is very, very hot action there, about 8:30. It's even earlier than that every single day. So go grab that, and we're going to go over to the desk.
All right, guys, 58.75 is where we closed out yesterday on the ES March contract. We're above it already with the The pre-market high, 59.18. But you'll notice this 58.75 was an area support level going back to December 20th, as well as early this month on January 2nd. So we're above it right now. Let's see if we can stay above it. We already breached it on the overnight high. So if we continue moving up, we're looking at 59.25 as the first level of resistance. If we start coming back down, we're looking at 58.75 as support, guys. All right, make sure to get the watch list every day, as the Katina man just mentioned there. Adara prepares it, and we all use it. Go straight into your inbox, as the graphic says there, and no good morning routine is set without being prepared and organized to know what's running in the day. So make sure to have that sent to your inbox every single morning. Google, the first name on the rundown over here. It looks like they're in more hot water out in England, with the Competition Markets Authority looking at investigating them for what they call anti-competitive behavior. It's the first such investigation under the newly enacted Digital Markets Competition and Consumers Act. It gives the Competition Markets Authority the right to investigate Google and make controls if they so require. They're alleging that Google controls over 90% of general search queries in the United Kingdom, with over 200,000 advertisers relying on Google search. They're concerned that Google will manipulate the new industry of large language models and AI search. Adara, what more can you tell us about this?
Basically, as you said here, because of how much Google actually holds here in the search space, they're calling it strategic market status. That's what they want to basically assess. We know that antitrust concerns have been an issue for Google. Brussels, even this morning, apparently also potentially going to look into names like Google, Apple, and Meta, but they said it's going to wait and have to see what happens with Trump. That'll be a new ball game. Either way, keep an eye out for some of these antitrust probes coming out of the EU, but this one here specifically with Google, guys.
So first of all, we have a new position alert right now. We are now into the TQQs. I said enough was enough on this. So we are now short the futures. There it goes to the downside. Bang! Right there, another winner coming through right now. So you're now rocking with us again. There it is, the futures. We talked about shorting on the sticky note right here, shorting 77. Once it broke through VWAP right there, I was like, let's try this play. Boom, boom. Eli Lilly, Adara, right now. Eli Lilly getting smoked, but then right back up. So let's see what winds up happening. It just went down to 770 here on guidance. So let's watch out to see what winds up happening with Eli Lilly. Nice. Okay, now it's going back there to the upside. But never fear, man. The futures are here. They're still trading, and there it is, a nice winner. 30 plus cents right here, all ready to start the day as we continue just a little bit lower. Let's get some more out. We never know what's going to happen here, but there goes the market just a little bit to the downside there with the Eli Lilly news. Adara's got it.
Yeah, basically this, again, 3-minute chart, this is pretty sparsely traded as it is very spready. So most of the candles we have to go on to this one that just came out right now. They're expecting here, so this is a little bit mixed. They're expecting 2024 revenue of $45.0 billion, so $45 billion. It's about 3% below its previous guidance range, but they did issue 2025 guidance here between 58 and 61 billion. They also said that this, despite the fact that this guidance for fiscal 2024, which again, they'll have Q4 reports coming within the next few weeks, this is again about 3% lower than their previous guidance, but it still represents 32% year-over-year increase. So it makes sense if investors are still trying to digest this news. It is a bit mixed, but generally looks pretty positive here for LLY.
Back into the 800 level. So just quickly for Eli Lilly, if it makes a move into the 200 period moving average, just look at what's going on when it gets to 840 every single time. So there's been a lot of overhead resistance, 840 to 850. If it gets up there, not that it looks like it's going to be that strong. I think it's a bit of a fade if Lilly gets to those prices. Clearly somebody's selling up there, no question about it. Alphabet 190 has been holding. You had support there, resistance there early on in the day, and then in the afternoon you had support. That was the bottom that we saw. I don't think it's the interesting Mag 7, necessarily the most interesting Mag 7 name today, but I think it's a simple over-under at the 190 on Alphabet. I feel like it's going to be Tesla and chips and crypto and quantum, which I'm pretty sure was all the same stuff as yesterday, so I'm not going to go too far away from that. But yeah, but the 190 is a simple over-under here on Google. Antitrust, what else is new? I mean, come on. If you're a big cap tech name and you have no antitrust issues going against you, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, we'll wait. Like we keep on saying about the new administration and everything, hopefully there'll be some sort of ease back on some of these guys. But we'll wait to see here. Still up on the day, which is kind of nice to see from Google. But at the same time, you had that nice bump. Market's trying to pull back. You guys can see I'm short the market now. But yeah, I still feel pretty comfortable with this position. I mean, there's a lot of turmoil right now. There's a lot of push and pull in the market in general, right? I mean, so for Google to be up here is still fine. We did get a little bit of a pushback. I feel like the last couple of days because of that quantum. You know, these guys are huge in quantum computing, right? I mean, I feel that they're not that 15 to 20 to 30 year timeline away. You know, they have applications currently that obviously we're not using quantum computing to its full extent or anything like that. But if anybody's going to be, you know, one of the leaders for that, I could see Google, you know, being up there. And they are. The thing is that pullback, you know, in the last little couple of days, a lot of that is just going to be market related too, right? So good move back in. I still like this long. I always say the same thing. Whenever you're near a 10 spot, so right now you're near 190, I like the long above it and the short below it. So for me right here, it doesn't look too great on the daily as a 190 marker, but if you look at like a 5-minute chart and we sort of just zoom in just a little bit right into here, you see we held above this 190. Yesterday, it didn't really have too much of an idea what it wanted to do. It made that move through in the morning. We all saw that. But then look where it stopped, 190, basically 190.20, fell back in down another $1 and change before eventually coming back up, thinking about 190 again. This is 190 right here. So thinking about this area, then bounced up, held it. Again, I stopped the charts, but came back in, was looking to break or test 190 again, and then we had the PPI number. So it's just that trade. I think there's better shorts, but if this breaks through 190, I do think you get 189, and then if the market continues to give it all back, then you're gonna get back down into here 188. So I think for risk to reward, the short break through 190, if you like the short, then that's going to be another one of those punch through names. Because it's only up 0.32 and the market is up half, you know, that would be relatively weak against the market. Otherwise, I'd be like, yeah, maybe you try the long in there at 190. But let's just wait to see. Again, I like to see the relationship. If Google is severely weak against the market, then we punch that 190 short. Otherwise, might be a no trade for me.
We're floating the idea here that China is considering a plan for Elon Musk to acquire TikTok's U.S. operations to prevent, obviously, the app from being banned. This plan is one of several options under consideration, reads the report. Under the proposed plan, Musk would manage TikTok US alongside his current role overseeing, well, he doesn't oversee X, he owns X. Linda Yaccarino oversees that. The plan apparently is still in the early stages. It remains unclear if ByteDance, TikTok, or Musk are even aware of these discussions, as TikTok dismissed the report, labeling it pure fiction. No comment, though, from Elon Musk vis-a-vis X.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. We know he usually will comment on things right away, so the fact that he hasn't is potentially of interest here. But I think what's also interesting is worth noting that Beijing officials apparently retain influence over ByteDance through something called a golden share. So they actually see Elon Musk as a potentially attractive option should they decide to divest here from their ownership to the US. So I think this will be a really interesting note. There's also, as we know, a couple other entities trying to potentially buy the US shares of TikTok. We know there's this Liberty project that's on watch. Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank, also been a guest on this show.
Yep.
He's also interested. So a lot of people have expressed interest. Elon Musk, notably, has not or commented on these, as you mentioned.
Tesla, guys, up almost 2 2/3.
I really can't see this happening. It just doesn't. It doesn't make a lot of. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I can see why he would want it. I can see that logic, but come on, it would be like, what are you gonna sell it to Zuck next? Like, yeah. So again, I don't know if this is the reason why Tesla was already moving, but let's try not to forget. A lot has happened since yesterday in the afternoon. There was a program buy that started in the market. Tesla was at 392 and already having a recovery day. Then you see the breakout through 400. Previous resistance at 402. So it's got a wide range. Obviously 415 is kind of come and gone. So I think I like an over-under above that price. Obviously, didn't really recognize the fact, didn't know it was going to break out during PPI. You can't know that. So I need to see it hold a bid over 415 to like any longs up here. Otherwise, I have no issues. If it comes all the way back, and we run that bottom, I will look dips back into that 402 zone. So that's the look for Tesla. If we're talking TikTok, you got to look at Snapchat and Meta, I think. And Snap is not, it gets down 2.5 points, barely getting any kind of a bump in the market when the market is bouncing to the upside. And if you look at this bad boy, underneath 1160 doesn't look very healthy to me on Snapchat. So already put in a reversal, already trending back in, and everyone's expecting that the ban comes this week. I think ultimately that's good for them, but you can see that 160 level going to be key here today. If it can bounce, great, but there's only one level to work off of for Snapchat, and it's this 1160, simple over-under. And Tesla, I'll be patient. If it gets all the way down in the low 400s, that's where I want to go for the long.
Like yesterday, Tesla's on the sticky note. So we had, here's yesterday for Tesla. So we had a 385, and then the push all the way down into 380 right there off the open. So it went down $5 before basically taking off up to $395, $15 before 11 o'clock, fading back out into VWAP, 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 VWAP again, more again right here as we held it, and then the move up. So, looking at a 5-minute chart, it does look top heavy there at 416. So we just bounced off of there. I think that would be a level to look at for right now. But if you're just going to look at it, what's just happened now, bump up there on PPI. So we wrote down even lower than that. I wrote down between 398 and 400. I wanted to get the party started right here. But again, we're writing that down as it's at 407 before PPI. So if that went the other way, ifs and buts, then I think you're down here. So I just still want to see what the momentum is. I mean, we are just once again cashing out some more on the futures, as right now about 20 handles in the money on the NASDAQ to the downside. But look at the base. Hold, right? Like it's holding above the 50 period right now. It's holding above VWAP. So, we'll get good 50 periods in here. We got the action. I think it's a long. I got to use the 200 period to make sure it holds. And right now the 200 period is at a great level. It's right here, right where we close basically at 407 into 406. So I think these are going to be dip buy opportunities, but I'm short the market. So obviously if I'm short the market, then I do think that this has an opportunity to come back in. So we had, what I was talking about was a great trade yesterday on the TQs that we nailed there near the end. And then now right again, playing off VWAP. We did not reload it because I'm thinking 77.50 would be a reload. And then I'm not stopping out until we break that high. So I've gotten out of 10% so far down here, 5% here, 5% here. We'll see if it can drip back in. But I'm going to be putting on about double the position up here around 50, a little bit more around 78, and then if we wind up losing the top, we wind up losing the top. But so far so good here with the TQs. So I think Tesla, a good dip buy in and around, 4 and change there tomorrow for what CEO was going to retire there? Oh, JPM.
It's not.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's
fine.
not a.
But anyways, there's the Jamie Dimon, rumors of retiring. I mean, they're going to have a predecessor ready for that. So I don't think it's a big deal. Banks coming tomorrow, so that should be exciting. And speak about banks and JPM. I mean, here comes crypto again. I remember this guy throwing cold water on Bitcoin at 10,000, at 15,000, at 20,000. Now again here at 90,000. So let's go find out this story about what's up with this crypto bounce.
So here is our friend Daniel Pinto, who's a long-time number 2 to our other friend, Jamie Dimon. I used to call him Jamie. He's slated to step down, guys, in June, being reported right now. So JPM in focus as a result of this resignation. Let's go on to the next topic, though. Adara, crypto in focus. Yesterday, Bitcoin ETFs experienced a combined net outflow of $284 million. Ethereum also recorded about $40 million of net outflows, marking a 4-day streak of withdrawals. But Bitcoin is bouncing to start the day here. Was up, well, it depends on when you started your percentage mover, but up 6%. It's trading at around 96,200. It hit a low there, Adara, though, of 89,800 yesterday, Ethereum also nearing a 200-day moving average.
Yeah, I just want to look at the Bitcoin 15-minute chart because there's a lot of interesting levels here. It looks like as of right now, we're trying to bounce off of this previous area of resistance around that 96,000 level. But I want to point out one other thing too. Right before that drop yesterday, we did have a bit of a double top around 95.8. Now, look where we bounced as of this morning, 95.8. So I think this is certainly a level to watch on BTC in the 15-minute. Also, you can really see the strength of this bounce on the 15-minute because look at that bottoming tail candle with that upside volume. Clearly, buyers do not want us decisively below 90,000. I think that's absolutely something to watch out for. Also, really quickly with the JP Morgan story before we pass it on back. So Daniel Pinto will be retiring by the end of 2026, but it's kind of bizarre. He will be stepping down, as Sharif said, as of June 30th, 2025, though he'll still be involved with the company, I guess, until 2026. So it's a bit confusingly worded, but either way, Daniel Pinto retiring as COO.
Pinto retiring as CEO. I like that. It's a little bit of a small rhyme. There's two names going to watch today in the crypto space. Obviously, I mean, IBIT speaks for itself. The 96,000 looks like a pretty good level. As long as you're above 96, then MSTR has a decent chance to do a bit of a rally. I like the fact that it's at least holding inside of the range right now, so no breakout necessarily imminent. 345 is going to set up here for a break. I also like an over-under at 341, but we're so tight to it. It's like Tesla in 415. You need to see it do it at the open because all of a sudden, when you get a number like this, it breaks through a key resistance price and then sets up new ones, right? So you got like 43 up here. You've got to see how it reacts to 41 at the open. Maybe it's a local break of that 43. But the other side of this coin, pun not intended, because I'm not going to talk about Coinbase. I'm actually going to mention Mara. Until proven otherwise, I think Mara usually has to give me some confirmation that it's not going to be the short. And on Friday, it was 18.25. You didn't have it early on Friday. Well, it was 18.50 and then 18.25. That was the area to short from. So if we do not end up breaking out this 97,000 and we're teetering on this 96 and losing it again, well, you've got Friday resistance at 18.25. Just look for some kind of a mean reverse. Like a trend reversal. Like if it trends, in this case, would trend up into it and curls at that price, I'd look for the Mara short. So this is one that has to set up pretty nicely for me to get into it because it would be going against the grain. It's MSTR. If it's a breakout long today, then the one I'm taking is going to be MSTR, not Mara. And if MSTR doesn't break out and Bitcoin falls, then it's going to be Mara that I short, as long as it's underneath 18.25. If it's over 18.25, I'm not fighting it because at that point it could go start squeezing.
Exactly, and that's the thing is about punching out. I'm going to discuss this Q's position in just a second, but the market notes for today for me had IBIT long 53. So yesterday we were short IBIT. I like the rebound in the stock. Again, we do get that bump up from PPI, so I guess maybe the next time we have like a major thing, I'll do this after, but I mean I'm sitting here doing it before. There's the bump up, right? So if we do get that fade back, yesterday we really liked 53 as the short. There it is at the 200 period, the 50 period. Huge run up at the end of the day, continued now again there. If crypto, I mean, I'm still thinking the market comes back in. So this is where I'm looking to buy in this area right now, 53.25 to 53.50, somewhere in here. I'm already bidding 53 quarters. We may have to up that a little bit into 53.50 or so here for IBIT. So that's going to be a level. I always like 50 period moving averages. So there it is right there on the 5-minute chart. It's not like a huge level or anything, but we'll wait. I still like 53 there. Hopefully we get a dip buy into that level. And I want that because we're short. So I just want to explain this. So, all right. I came in with a bias short on the market. I didn't even care that the market was up 0.5% or whatever it was. There's been a lot of negative talk here. We've talked about sort of these first few days in January. Now we're obviously in the middle of January. We know the rate cut cycle has stopped, and we probably don't get a rate cut until July. And some of these names are still relatively working here in the NASDAQ, right? And like we had Apple yesterday, we have Tesla starting to go back up to the upside here. Hold on a second. Why isn't that chart changing to the TQs? So what I was just looking at was that was a big bump there on PPI. So that's great. It's a nice save. The market was going red before that, right? So there's the save. All right, so we get that. So let's just see now, do the traders that believe the market is a short, there we go. I told you we're shorting 50s. So I said we're putting on double the position. So now our average price is 38, so that makes sense. So we're just gonna wait to see if that euphoria eventually wears off of that PPI and the sellers just, retrace back in, because Here's the NASDAQ right here. And I mean, the trend is still this way. Like I said, before that PPI, we were underneath the 50-period moving average. If we do break, I mean, Neil had a point there about Mara. If we break higher and get through this level, then we'll be out of there. You know, we'll take a small hit. We're here to trade. So I'm going to put on this idea, like right there, we're back to flat on the trade. We'll put this idea on and see if it works off the open, because if it does and we get that move up and then the flush back down in, I mean, I think that's kind of the trade that we're looking for. We've done it the last couple of days on Apple. We've had some good plays sort of reverting back into the main idea that we had. And today it's going to be short. And if we lose it, then we'll get out at that day high. So it's for me, it's a pretty simple trade. We'll put on probably double the position, again, just to have the most comfortable shares, because right now we don't have too many. We'll wait to see if it gets up to this level to put on a little bit more, and then we're going to watch out for 78.20 break. If it breaks 78.20, then we are gone, and I think we have a potential to get back into the 76-ish area. So I think it's well worth it, and we'll wait to see what winds up happening right now. Sellers may go on a vacation, and we may get a little bit of a bump up here today for sure. So we're going to be
vacations.
Yeah, hopefully no vacations. We're going to get cautiously pessimistic.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say cautious.
I'm optimistic about the trade, but pessimistic about...
I was going to say, yeah, I guess it works both ways.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, here we go. We're still short the market. It's back into the money. Let's go back to the desk.
Go China.
Time to talk some China. Central bank plans to support economic growth out in China, with the bank committing to lower interest rates as well as reducing cash reserve requirements for lenders to increase that liquidity. They're also going to work with the Chinese Securities Regulator Commission to kind of improve structural monetary policy and strengthen the market stabilization measures. Some of the key issues that they're trying to fix, obviously we know about this, weak demand in the property sector, tumbling bond yields. This one is a bit of a concern because a lot of foreshadowing here between Japan in the 90s and with recent action here with Chinese bonds. There's also pressure on the yuan due to the strength of the US dollar, and that is causing concern with the People's Bank of China, which is pledging penalties now for market distorting behaviors in an effort to kind of shore up the declining yuan.
Yeah, and as there's also a specific catalyst here in the Chinese ADR space, specifically it's XPeng. This daily chart is pretty choppy, but you could see here we're gapping up to that $13 level, up about 9% on the day. What's the catalyst, you may ask? Well, it actually involves BP, which is a British natural gas company. So one of the subsidiaries, I guess, of XPeng called Guangzhou Xiaopeng Smart Charge Technology, so their charging sector, is partnering up with BP Pulse, which is BP's charging sector, and basically the companies have signed a memorandum of understanding. So they'll be launching projects wherein they can open their vehicle charging network to each other's customers. So we know they have a similar arrangement with Volkswagen, so yet another charging deal for XPeng. Great look for the company.
This one particularly, I don't trust the move in XPeng. I don't, like, it's at $13, like recently, there's been one day you've done well by going long at $13 recently, and that was, hey, that's awesome. That was on my birthday. So on Boxing Day was the only day recently that you can take when it gets up to 13 and not be looking short, and it worked out for you. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like if there's a short day today, this is not the place that I planned on being. So I really doubt that I trade XPeng. I don't trust that one. Alibaba, and be honest, this one's not on my list, but I actually don't mind this Alibaba today. This looks shockingly okay. Like, you just bounced off of 80 even yesterday, and a bit of a continuation play. It's not out of pocket. It's just hanging out right back at some Friday open prices. So, like, it's got room to go. I think even if you just go station to station, it's got like 82.5 to 83.5. Nothing crazy. Probably more along the lines of a hold a pre-market low and there's only one place to go. If it doesn't break the low, there's only one place to go. I think that's the look that I would have for Alibaba. But we're about to talk about some chips, and that's the other place outside of the Teslas and then crypto. That's where we're going to be. But I don't trust that XPeng move because clearly that price at 13 has been a trouble spot.
% agree.
We've talked about FXI a couple times here. Where's the 200 period? On my other chart, it's loading up. Load. Anyway, okay, there it is. All right, so we just bounced off the 200 period moving average. We talked about this for ETFs. If there's a space that you like and it gets into the 200 period moving average, it's probably worth nibbling. And that came within 40, 50 cents. So that's a nibble zone right there. If you like China, I would just go with FXI. To me, it's too hard to pick the individual companies. I still am somewhat. It's very, very small position. I was actually surprised at how small it was. We were lucky enough, man, to trim this out. And we did it live. It was live on the air. Neil was doing the recap show, and I put it in. We were sitting right here after hours, and we got out of Alibaba at 117.50. It's almost at the very top right there. It was just pulling back in, and I said, enough is enough. And I think that's some Brian Shannon told me always, like, what are you even doing in these Chinese names? But there it is, a nice little pullback into $80, now broken below the 200 period moving average. I mean, I don't like really any of these names, but if you're going to do anything, I would say the ETF is probably the safest bet for now, and that's the FXI or KWEB, if you want to be specific with internet names. So.
QBTS is a decent sized buy. Well, okay, it's only $4.
Just came out, right?
QBTS is $4. I keep forgetting how cheap this is. Yeah, so $800,000 to buy on QBTS is about the only thing that just dropped at $950, $925 there. JPM small sell $260,000. Of course, we had the news with their COO change. So only 4 minutes to go. Let's get to the chips. AMD with an upgrade. Is that even allowed?
No.
All right, guys, AMD next up 1.25%. Loop Capital giving them the upgrade today with a buy rating and a price target of $175. Some of the growth areas that they highlighted here: accelerated computing. They see anticipated success in this area, and they say the stock is underappreciated for this particular purpose. Also, general purpose compute. They say that there's opportunities for share expansion in the PC and general server market. I want to remind you, though, that Goldman took the complete opposite view when it comes to the Windows PC market, saying that they believe ARM is going to have 50% of the Windows PC market by 2029. So a bit of a conflicting view here, but some of the rating agencies, Adara.
Loop Capital, it's worth noting, they've always, I was telling Sharif this off camera, from what I've noticed, they've always been a little bit contrarian. They'll put a rating, then they'll retract it a week later, then they'll put it back on. So keep this in mind, but either way, they said they see up to 50% potentially here, upside from this level. And they said actually because investors are so sketchy about AMD right now, that actually gives it even better risk to reward, which is a really interesting approach. They're kind of recognizing this is a bit of a hot take, but either way, we're here to keep you in the loop about this Loop Capital upgrade. Also, really quickly, I want to keep you guys on the loop about this Meta headline I just saw. Reportedly, according to CNN, Meta is telling Brazil to end its fact-checking only in the U.S. for now. So we know Meta's been trying to roll back its fact-checking and replace it with community notes as popularized by Elon Musk's X. But either way, keep an eye on META. Back to you.
Yeah, Meta, of course, in play just with the TikTok news as well. AMD 120 looks like the over-under zone today. Just go back to Thursday's bottom and then Friday pre-market. It was a good upward trend yesterday. It was just, you had to be able to get out of the way and eventually take some longs in the afternoon if you were going to play anything on AMD. Up 1 point, stronger than the overall market. Relief rally certainly seems like it's in tow. It's actually, so Intel, I know it's made a similar, the charts are basically the same thing, where they made a distinct bottom and then you're kind of breaking out above that high. So as long as we hold on to this 19 quarter mark at the open, you've already broken 1935, which I had on the note, that happened on the number, but you have a quad bottom of sorts here on the daily chart at 52-week lows. Not every time getting to 1850, but I mean 1875, just double bottom. I think you're getting at least a small relief rally in the two languishing chip names of their ilk. That's Intel and AMD. I like that news story for ARM. I love ARM. I plan on buying them after, at some point, like this is like a year for me to dollar cost average into it. I keep thinking valuation is going to bring it down to me, and it doesn't actually happen. But yeah, Intel, we're going long off the quarters at the open here.
We just posted this up, and it's just right now we're probably going to get short Apple in just a couple seconds here. But there was the call earlier was short Apple 235 area. I was just going over the sticky note and trying to find it out, and I was like, oh my God, we did bounce quite nicely off of to the downside, off of that 236 all the way down to 234. We touched out on. So we'll see. We get it short now, so it's a brand new position for us. We have two positions here with the open upon us. necessarily like, getting into these this close to the open, but there it is. We're now short in the 90s here. We'll put a bid in the 50s, then we'll put a bid down a little bit lower than that for Apple, like in the teens, and we'll see if we get some of those dips there off the open with only less than a minute to go. Apple slightly in the money, but who cares at this point? The TQs there bouncing off these levels. We talked about where our stop out is. If that comes into play, great. We could go 0 for 2, really quick stop outs here early. And again, that will be fine. Like, we'll learn our lesson. We talked about trying to fight momentum. Right now, the trend is up. The market's holding some of these highs. So let's wait to see what happens here off the open. This is by far not married to any of these positions. So, all right, that's it, man. TQQs, Tesla on watch, I feel like.
Here
today,
comes
NVIDIA. Hey, Daryl, what's going on over there? Palantir as well. So,
let's get it started. Ring it in 2 and 1. Adara, let's go.
there we go. Get that little leg kick there. That means that's like a go for it right there. There goes Apple right now. Oh boy, we've got one on already here for Apple. So we'll hit those sirens up as Apple just goes a little bit to the downside. We'll take out some at 50 right there for your first 50-cent winner of the day, followed by another 50-cent winner right here as the futures start to go back down to the downside. And Brittany, we're doing it again, but not for long. Let's see how long this rally or this move can last to the downside. We're going to sit on our hands a little bit and let this settle down. We did get out of only 20% of Apple because we were sitting there at 50. So far, so good. Let's wait to see what happens.
Yeah, market coming in nicely, so I think that's a great look early on. Mara did not get the 1820, but is starting to work back in. Nothing really happening over on Tesla except a small dip. Like it just got into VWAP. If it holds VWAP, maybe you look some continuation in there. But the name that I was looking for the fade, it looks like Bitcoin just tagged underneath 97, and Mara does not hold above that 18 level. So if it's under 18 quarter, want to look for the shorts. Going to give it a chance to try to bounce here off of the top. And then Snapchat as well. We were watching some Snapchat. It just took out 11.6. I want to see it react underneath this level. It broke it in the pre-market, but Snapchat down 5% and continuing. The other name we forgot about, sorry guys, Rigetti. Want a continuation, but want to wait until $7, $7 to $7.20. And this one's already headed back in the upside. We're getting up 12%. Some of the quantum names catching a bit of a bounce.
So you guys asked me yesterday what price we were buying Rigetti at, and we told you $6. We nibbled a little bit there yesterday at those levels for RGTI. So yeah, good level there. Obviously, as Neil just mentioned, they're up that 10% so far today. It's just a very, very small nibble. I told you that story about my friend, and there it is, Neil. Oh boy, man, there it goes. Nice little move to the downside right now. It's accelerating. We could get that. Wow, I thought I was getting 39s or something. Where am I bidding on Apple? They're 19s. Oh no. It goes as low as 25. Let's get a little bit lower there for Apple right now as the future is starting to get going. One more time. Oh boy, there it goes, man. Nice little take down on the TQQs as we go sirens up, man. If you're following the trades, it's been a good run. I mean, we've done this for a couple days now and hit some real good trades right off the jump. So there it is right there. We'll just wait to see what winds up happening. But so far, man, hit the like, hit the subscribe, do all of that right now. But remember, you got to get out of your positions. Like, just because you hit the winners, we talked about this, doesn't mean that you're actually making any money. You got to put the bids out and get those fills. So these are a bunch of fills rate coming in right now. Apple's starting to pick up again, breaking back above. So watch out now. We didn't get anything. That's too bad, man. We were at 19s. It goes to 26. Watch out. If Apple takes out this 236, that's like our no moss level. So we'll have to wait to see if that happens.
Roberto Duran.
Yeah, we're still waiting for DJT as well. We'll have to check that out. But right now, it is the market falling all over itself. We talked about trading the futures. You guys wanted it more, and there it is right there. It's futures trading. Was a great trade yesterday. I think we might have one here again today.
Oh my goodness, to see the chip names come back in there. We'll get to AMD in a quick little second. NVIDIA just tanked, but $7 came in on Rigetti. It just broke 7, got to 703 on the way back, grabbed some 97s. If it holds VWAP, remember, this is a trend up. It's 13% to the upside, and it bled yesterday. So it's SSR. Every bounce is a short sell restricted bounce on Rigetti today. So got to make sure you take some profit on this. Let's go right back to Adara.
Yeah, Eli Lilly here breaking new day's lows. Are actually breaking below that previous support level of 770. In case you missed it here for Eli Lilly, they did come out here with some of their guidance for fiscal 2025 and for the rest of the year for fiscal 2024. Their year-over-year revenue growth, they're still expecting to be 32% for fiscal 2024, but it's about 3% lower than their previous guidance. So LLY, strong guidance, but not as strong as the market wanted. It is worth noting for this name, there's a bit of a spread. I'm seeing maximum $2 spread right now, and we have just under 500,000 shares traded on the day, so pretty light on volume as of right now.
Oh, Intel. Oh, my.
We had to watch out.
Damn it, Intel. So I was going to mention AMD, but Intel, first dip, miss. Second dip, miss. Third dip, breaking out the high. No. Still, didn't get any of those longs on Intel. I'm not going to leave them in. Like, what if it absolutely tanks, and then you just have all three of the bids out there? So I guess if it breaks 19.5, I'm taking a breakout on Intel. I'd rather buy a dip back in a prior high. So I'm going to get the bid out. If we break 19.5, we're going long. Intel was just a relief rally kind of move here. Let's get this order in. There we go. So if we break 50s, you can see it's kind of like a limit order crossing to 55. It just shows how far I'm crossing. I promised I would go to AMD. There's Intel breaking. AMD broke VWAP to the downside. And Rigetti, though still an upward trend, did not reload. It took out 720. So we like 7 to 720. That's this lower high on the daily. I don't mind getting back into this. It's a simple over-under. But remember, it's short sell restricted. So squeezing can happen on these names. And if we take it on a curl first time and it breaks the high, I got to make sure it's a mean reversion the second time through. So just Intel to the long side. Tesla did that. Tesla came nowhere near pre-market lows. Held on to VWAP pretty nicely. Still doing the over-under at 415. The other names to watch, of course, crypto. We're back above 97,000 on Bitcoin. Good. Just going to double check MSTR. That's completely blown out that 345. So it's looking very strong. Well, be careful what you wish for, because Mara's at 1825.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, go ahead.
It's at the resistance level on Mara, but I said I'm not fighting this thing if it breaks 18.25, but it's not there just yet. So any curl off of 1825, and I got to look for my short on Mara. It's been good almost every single day short in this stock, but when the market's coming up like this, I think patience is going to be required for that. It's MSTR that you want to be long, I think, not Mara.
Yeah, I know, great call. Looking at different asset classes, right? I mean, it's not just going to be an equity rally all the time. You got to look other places, and crypto, definitely a good spot for that. Oh man, like we were short now at 50s. We just bid 50s. It came in and stopped at us. Stopped at 56. We were bidding 53s just to get out of like 15% of this. Apple, real aggressive, man, much more so than the market. So there's 236. It's going to be a fine hit for us. It's going to be out 50 cents if it does break that level. I'm going to give it, I mean, it just took out 05. I wasn't at 05. Obviously, I wasn't there. We already got stopped out. I gave it 20 extra cents. So if we break through 236.20 or so, then we'll get out. And like we said, we do not want to get run over by this. So we're managing our positions right now and trying to be a little cautious with what we are doing. And that
MSTR is just gone.
What just happened?
MSTR is...
Oh, yeah, well, that would make sense. MSTR, again, obviously the levered up crypto space there, MSTR. What was
Tesla's gone as well.
Everything. I mean, everything. I mean, I think you missed the boat right now on any of the longs, which is why we're just kind of like massaging. Give us that 53. There it is. Yes, sir. Okay, here we go. We waited for this, Apple. Let's reward us, but it's not happening on the TQs. Remember, this takes out that high as well. And there it is, man. So we've gotten out. We just put back a little bit. We didn't put back at all. We are waiting to get a little more up here if we can, near 78. We talked about where our stopping zone would be, and actually, now that the market's open, I could change my stop order to 78. Well, I thought it was going to be, yeah, let's do it. It was 21. So 21s. We'll get out of, watch this, 100% of the trade if it's wrong. But oh boy, Neil, here it comes back in, man. And this is what we talk about. Where's my guy Obi at right now as we stay strong? Bang! This is why, man. This is why we get excited. Now we have a big winner here, one of the biggest winners in a while here for Apple. And there it comes, man. We believe in that trade. It bleeds to the downside there. We do not stop out. We adjust our stop. We get it in there. And there it is, man. It is your first, close to anyways, dollar winner right now to the downside for Apple. So wow, that was quite the adventure right there, as we were going to get stopped out for 50 cents. Remember where our average price was? We were short at 46s, right? So now that we're in the money, 50 cents plus, but let's just start to get out a little bit more. We'll punch some more out here at 98, get some lower bids. But Apple, man, the apple of this guy's eye today, 234.75. First roughly Dollar Club winner, now 90 cents in the money.
Tesla 420. Look, 415's gone, so 420's happening pretty much any second now. I'm taking the break. We thought we'd take a break at earlier, but it broke our level in the pre-market on the number. So here comes the 420. Obviously, First $5 even dollar available to us. Mara did tag over under at 18 very briefly. Did we break? Yeah, I'm in position, so we obviously broke. A little hiccup with the quotes as usual. When we get anytime you get a big liquidity event, I feel like on these early breakouts, for the first couple of seconds, let it suss itself out. So we just got to 420.74 on Tesla. Is it going to be able to hold the $0.5 back through? That's where I want to drop the stop in on there. I am short Mara. It's the only short position we have on. But Tesla, there's the over-under. We wanted 415 initially, but it did not hold that 420 back. If we can close above 420 on the next candle, I'll jump back into the long. But the breakout trade went essentially a buck and then came right back in there. I might go a little bit lower shares and then jump back in on that bid. But Mara short's starting to be a little bit concerning as well. So got to watch out for this. Bitcoin is holding that 97,000, and this market is starting to scream into the upside. Yeah, Mara short might not be the right one here today. It's been a good one, but I got it back through 18, and if it breaks out that 1813 high, then I'm out of this trade and just got to walk away from it because the market's heading right up to the high of the day.
Yeah, it's amazing that the market is going there. We're going to go 3 for 3 so far today with both big shorts, man. I mean, this Apple short really paying out back into VWAP, back into there. DJT we put on. That broke that 41. Now we got to wait, man. If it takes down this 200 period, we're going to be out of that of DJT. We got something out at 20s there on this initial break, but it does fade back in. We said that we like that trade as an opportunity there for DJT. So let's just continue with it. I do feel pretty strongly if it does break that 40-20 or so area, or what is this? Yeah, 40-20s or so, we will get out of DJT. But oh boy, man, here it comes back in again. Let's get these futures a little lower. We said what we wanted to do. We put on a big position there near the high of the day, and now it's just cash money all around. So we'll wait, man. Only on the shorts. The DJT, we gotta hope that gets a little bit better for us. Come on, Apple, just keep on bleeding downside, man. Our net is really starting to take off right here, Neil. Another 30 handle winner right now for you on the futures, man. There it goes. So 3 for 3 over on this side. We'll see if we can keep it going. I'm just going to try to manage these positions. A big one on Apple and even a bigger one on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, there you go. With the NASDAQ actually creeping back in toward the high. All right, so Tesla just came back in. Mara, we're going to keep this double top in. It just tried to tag VWAP. And I look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's holding strong, and Mara's not breaking out the high. So I think so far it's looking pretty good. DJT making a rally.
Yes, sir.
Is it through? It's not through 42. It is through 41. I do have Funware up. If DJT does any kind of a curl, then I am going to short that name instead. So Mara is going to be a bit of a concern. Tesla still holding that 420 and trying to get back into 421. But here comes Mara in. So it looked like it was going to try to break. It did an exact double top. So I short again at the 18 level, and we'll just try to get some out in front of VWAP and then down toward the low of the day. Got to make sure you're taking profit when you're going against the grain. And right now, yeah, something's coming down for us, but ultimately the market's headed back into the upside. Tesla got all the way to 422.5, and now it's putting in, it closed higher low after the 420 breakout. I think we're a good bet to at least retest the 422. So strength in Tesla, strength in the market, boom. And hopefully not too much strength in Mara at this moment. If you're watching something like an NVIDIA, kind of a nothing burger on NVIDIA, very disappointing name. And we forgot, well, at least I forgot about this. KB Homes, KB reported, it said in the aftermarket show that if this thing could have held above $70, it would look pretty good. Well, there is KB. If you're wondering why I'm not looking at it today, it's because KB completely dumped off of the open and never found any kind of a bid. So I don't think it's going to be much of a trade today unless you were looking short. Just because you like a level doesn't mean you have to stand in front of it if it just blows right through. Yeah. All right, Mar. Buyers at VWAP again. I'll see if I can get money fills above 18 this time for a better price.
Ain't that the truth, man? I mean, that's you don't necessarily always want to be
just sitting. Looks so good on it.
Yeah, I mean, I said that earlier. I think that was one of the breakouts I liked. Not that I liked, but that we had commented on a little bit as well. Okay, so another out there on Apple as it's coming back in just a little bit. Future's a little scary there. It does touch $78, but we don't do anything about that. We're already in this position. We're going to hold on to it, see if it does fade out just a little bit more. We're going to bid 70s as well. Try to take those 20 handles again right into there. And then if we do get that dip down in, 77.40 is the dream level for me. So if we come back into that, we will get some out. Give us some 70s first, and let's go over to Adara.
Keep an eye on ThreadUp, TDUP up about 58% right now. They do have a 6% short float and a $180 million market cap, providing higher than expected revenue guidance for, or I guess preliminary revenue for Q4. We know a lot of these companies, specifically in the retail space, have been providing preliminary revenue over the last few days, including ANF and LULU. So keep an eye on these type of tickers. Of course, if I see anything, I will let you guys know. Back to you.
All right.
Thank you very much, Adara. Appreciate you as always. Look at these. Look at the quantum go. So this is why it's okay to be wrong. It ain't okay to stay wrong, everybody. You're now at $7.65. I'm getting ahead of myself there. Almost $8. There was a buy and balance on QBT, which is D-Wave, so that one was already headed to the upside as well. You just quickly double check. Tesla's at 21, but as the market's headed back to the highs, usually you want to check on how your shorts are doing in that moment. So we just finally broke VWAP, but no break at the low of the day. Gonna slap another bid here in front of the low, which is at 75. So we'll see if we actually put a couple in and see if we can get the bid on this. When I look over at, so that's Mara, but when I look over at IBIT load, I should have pulled up the black chart. Like you're holding VWAP and still a bit of an upward trend, so you're holding a higher low. So Mara looks relatively weak, but if we're not breaking VWAP on IBIT here, then I seriously doubt this is going to have the follow through that we want. So we'll see what happens, but I like this Mara short, at least for now.
All right. It's just more of the same for your boy over here. I don't really know. I mean, the futures now, we're getting that 70 fill. There's the 70 fill. Oh, no, what? I thought we were bidding TQQ 70. Oh, 76.70. My bad. We're thinking a little lower than that. All right, so there it is now. Now we'll get that fill again. We'll get another money fill right there. It's going to be just another one of these days. It's 9:45, and you guys, yesterday, we did it. A little bit later than this, but there it is, goal hit right there. So we do have our chicken dinner winner of the day. Our daily goal has now been hit, but that doesn't mean we're stopping. I'm just letting you guys know that, from the share sizes and from everything that we've been doing here today, good daily goal for myself been hit there. I think it's important to set those things, give yourself an idea of what you're doing and how the day's been going at this point. Not to get overly excited too much about it, and just be calm down and make sure that you make the best trades always. All right, man, and we have a good trade here. Let's go futures. We were just sitting there. I thought again, that's right. I'm keeping at the wrong prices. 77.52 I should be at, not 62. Let's put a bid now down there. We just missed that. My bad on that one as well as the futures coming in. So far over here, guys, it's been a 3 for 3 day. We got Apple to the short side. It's been good. That one was a little tricky. DJT, we do get that fill, man. We got to fill at 25s or 30s or something, but it's still not doing too much. This could be the L for sure. If we break that back down below 40.20, then that's going to be the L. We'll hold on to DJT, but right now, man, it's the futures. It's your trade of the day right there on the NASDAQ. We talked about it. We described it. You guys asked me all about this trade. There it is. If you're trading futures with me, giddy up, man. It's been quite the ride. Neil, they asked for more futures trading. We delivered right there. Nice move by that. And I want to thank everybody for getting on that futures bandwagon, man. It's been a great trade.
Yeah, bring it on down to Breakdownville. Look, we had one shot on Intel for a breakout trade. It's a simple setup, break the high, give it to the low, and it does not want to hold on, so it's all good, but got to go back over to MARA. We just, get entered twice there, we just hit the low, so now it's a hold. So if we break this low, you've got a gap to about 17.3. So I want to look for a 17.5 out and then 17.3. If we're going to hold trend down, still hold on to about half the position. I did try to add above 18, but we actually didn't get any shares up there above the 18 level. But I like this failed breakout look. It never broke that 18.20. So hopefully simple strategy there. NVIDIA is continuing to bleed to the downside as well. And let me just jump on over to Rigetti.
Yeah,
as Rigetti just came in pretty heavily. Now, there was no level up here outside of like 830, so it's almost like a simple mean revert trade. But let's see what happens at VWAP, because this is an SSR name. If it bounces off of VWAP, I think that's actually pretty bullish. So if we don't get the short off of 7, VWAP is going to be out and about above our prior resistance at 720. So I think this can be a bit of a continuation play. And as I just saw DJT go, I said I was going to short Funware and any push into DJT to the upside. As you can see, Funware just dumped off of the open. So I have to put that idea on the back burner because the idea was to short a pop in Funware if DJT went up. Unfortunately, Funware just went instantly to the downside.
All right, guys. You can clearly see that, you know, trading is not super easy. As you can clearly see, we try to go for the ideas. And when they work, and you got to cash in on those and then get out, as we keep saying here. You know, it's not, Neil always says it's not good to stay wrong, and that is for 100% right, especially in these markets where we get a little bit of this upside down movement happening all the time. And what I mean by that is like it's up and then it's down and then it's back. Like it's back and forth if we come and look over here. So we'll stay true to what we've been doing and how we've been talking here again, and just starting to get out, starting to like massage out of some of these positions. We're bidding some 37s right here. Yes, there it goes. We get that fill now. And we'll bid another thing in the 30s, get back into the downside. At that 200 period, man, I mean, the market is up today. We'd like to see a break. That would signify downside, you know, possibly more downside. But as long as we stay above there, I feel pretty comfortable getting out of some of these trades. And again, it's just a matter of what you're comfortable with, right? Trading what you're doing right there. That is the TQQs. All right, IBIT right now. I know Neil was in Mara, or still is. IBIT didn't give us any dip buys really since the open, except for right now. So that just bouncing into $55 could be something. I'd rather wait. Obviously, we're short the market, short Apple. I'd rather wait to see if something comes in on this one. But right now, IBIT just kind of holding out. I'm not super excited about it. I'd rather get to this 54 rate. Excuse me, right down into that. All right, so the other play that we have on board still DJT. We still have half. We have exactly half on this trade. The best we've gotten, man, was like 25 cents on this. So we're up on the stock, but holding it against us. So this could be a red name. If this breaks back down through, I was always at 40.20s here. So if it breaks below that, we're going to get out. It does dip into 40.50. We could put a little bit more on, but honestly, it didn't work out through 41s. So we'll just sit there now and throw our hands up a little bit and get out of this one if it does break lower. But man, oh man, has it been a great day for trading today. The number one P&L name today will be the triple Qs, and it won't even really be close. So far, so good here. We just got to fill at 30. We'll try to take, there it is. We'll take another one now, and now we'll wait for some 77s downside. The trades are right here, guys, and it's been a big one with the TQQs.
Yeah, absolutely. Tesla's at VWAP, guys. I'm going to wait for it to hold because that's not the level I like. It's 415 over under. So it's just a line on a chart. And at the end of the day, I want to respect, if we can go back to 415, you got to look at a 15-minute chart for that. So if we can put in some higher lows, great. But this is, when you take a breakout trade for me on Tesla, you want to give it a chance to go. Now, obviously, you can scalp that entirely out. And then if it breaks back underneath 420, you've got yourself a win. That's not what I'm looking for on Tesla. I'm scalping some out, but I'm trying to hold some. So when it breaks down under 420, I'm still holding on to a third of that position, or usually more than that a lot of times. So not going to hold that to VWAP. If it goes that far in, you can just look for the next opportunity long. So yes, it's still holding a bit of an upward trend. Going to double back on over to Mara because that hit the pre-market lows, bounced, and now see if it can put in a lower high. So if we can get a lower high, I'm still sitting above 18, but we're not getting any fills up there. If we can get another lower high, we're underneath resistance on Mara still. I'll jump back into those shares, but let's let it suss itself out, calm itself down a little bit, because you are getting a nice upward push back in Bitcoin, not necessarily the markets. Back over to Rigetti. Obviously, the volume is through the roof. Doesn't even sniff VWAP. Now it's almost at $8 into the upside. This one is going, and gone to set upside. And of course, AMD is just a dying quail at this point. So the short, we're going to hang on tomorrow, looking for that reload if we can get something in the 18 range, but it doesn't seem to want to get all the way back to 18 again.
It's always good when something works. We talked about that yesterday, buying some Rigetti. We were asked what levels. I said $6. We showed you that. And by the way, money, as the winners, I mean, keep coming, man. The TQs is just getting lower. Like exactly as we had planned here today has happened. We did get the crystal ball here, thanks to Mr. Westermeyer. I haven't seen him in a minute, but we don't need that, right? You just need to have a little bit of intuition and then some calls. And then today we had the call of the day was shorting the futures. And there it goes to the downside. We talked about that PPI hangover. There it is right now coming back into the low of the day. So yeah, man, we put up a big number yesterday. We are putting up a big number right now today. So far so good, man. I just hope that everybody likes the stream, likes the show, likes what we're doing. You have a big show coming this afternoon, man, with Joseph and Sharif. It's going to be a big show. Every show with those guys is a big one. Today they talk about VWAP. Oh boy, though. I mean, VWAP is real nice, Neil, but as you've shown today, like some trades will be great, some trades will be bad. We've got a couple good ones. Nice trade there on Mara. We'll see if that can continue to work out. We've got a big time winner right now. Over 100, Joseph, over 150 handles right now in the money on the TQQs. There's only one, and it is the futures right now. We've got $1.50 on this and $1 on Apple right now, man. Oh boy, Neil, what another day we're having here live. And this is why we're setting records, man. You guys want, you want winning trades. You want those ideas. You could see so far here today, Neil's tried Intel, Tesla, Rigetti, now in Mara. We're here with Apple, DJT, and the TQQs. Big winners abound today, man. Good day. Let's just see if we can keep the good vibes rolling.
Exactly. And whatever your style might be, just make sure you stay true to it for sure. So, like, I did get more shares on Mara. I said I didn't add to the Mara position. That was a little bit incorrect. I did add to it on the way down. I just didn't get any more shares the last time it popped over VWAP. But we're right back to the lows. You've now double bottomed down here around 17.6 or so. So it just caught another bid. I made sure we got some out. Again, the trend is sort of working to this downside. And then Tesla, like I was saying earlier, like you take your shot. Now again, like every style's gonna be different. I don't want to average into Tesla. Right, so look, it's a falling quail. I'm favoring longs in Tesla this morning. We took the breakout trade, it didn't work, and now all of a sudden you're just trending down. So I'm not fighting this trend. At this point, once you establish this downside, it's a trend reversion play. It's got to break this downward trend. Ideally, you'd almost fall further and get down into the 400s, and then it's an even juicier style trade. But for now, patience required on Tesla. I don't want to catch a falling knife. Like, I don't like the average game, but I like that setup where we can get some kind of a mean revert. The other thing we got to watch out for is that advanced money destroyer. Because it's now down a full percentage point and getting very close. I think very close to that 115 zone. So 115 was the big money spot yesterday. You can see Friday bottom, yesterday support level. Anything underneath that was in the pre-market. 115, I did not think was coming into play today on AMD, so I didn't even have it on the note. I thought 120 was the spot to short. Clearly, you didn't get a shot at 120. Got to 119 maybe and change. So AMD about $1 away, but you got to be ready in case we do get there. Come on, Mara, break that low of the day. Mara doesn't want to break the low of the day because Bitcoin is not breaking down. So Bitcoin is still holding decently. It's up 3% IBIT here, but there's no break low. Mara is pretty much at its lows. If Bitcoin breaks low, I want to be trying to hold for the breakdown in Bitcoin. Oh, I forgot Alibaba.
All right. So far, so good here, guys. Yeah, Alibaba. Look, we are just like basically the only stock that's ever been in trouble for us, and it's pretty good to be able to say this, of course, is DJT, as we'll wait to see where it wants to go from here. But we are like, I don't know. Like, it feels like it's hard, obviously everybody, as Neil always says, everyone trade your own style. But like, I just have to say, like, this style right here of just sticking and part of the show is entertainment. I think we do a great job of that. But part of the show is also like trying to, for me, trying to articulate exactly what I'm thinking, and that's why I only have 2 trades. Yesterday we had 3 trades. It was 1, 2, 3, bang, racked it up, right? And today it was very similar here. If you come over to the chart with Apple too, it was just like we wanted that short into those levels. We talked about that. We waited for it. We waited so patiently for it, and then when you do that, you get this opportunity when it works. It could go against us. We talked about that. We are well ready for those, right? And then the futures as well. Like, oh my gosh, Neil, this is just getting way better than we even thought right now. Oh my God. As there it goes. Like, what a great way to trade. Relaxed, calm, and just easy peasy. We say that, and you guys are all in the chat, like, you're loving this, and so am I. It's very easy for me to relax, stay calm, get these trades for everybody, describe them, put them on, and then put them on for myself. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. I do the show for everybody, but I do it for myself, for trading, for trying to make an income while we're doing this. And right now we are, cruising right now. We've basically almost doubled what we were thinking about trying to get at today. So it's been a good move down. This Q's move, I mean, whenever you go from high of the day, 78, like we have the high of the day on the market. That's the futures. That's the high of the day on the NASDAQ into the low of the day right now, into this PPI level, which, by the way, rewind, Neil, to 9:30 when the market opened. I'm like, let's see if we can retest this level again down there. So it's really nice when the plan comes through and works. And then you can do something like this. So, so far so good. I mean, those are the trades that we're going to be looking at for right now. It looks like DJT. There it is, DJT. So there you go. Put that L right back in there, right? So there's an L. So DJT comes down. So we'll go 2 for 3. There's the move back down to the downside. We took it. We got some out. We lost on half of DJT. So those are sort of what we're dealing with right now. Let's try to find some more. We knew we wanted Palantir. You can find all of these trades for free, by the way, at Trader TV Sean. So we'll look at IBIT 96. I know you're on Mara, so there's been some coverage on the crypto space.
Yeah, so Mara just broke the low of the day, but I am absolutely going to kick myself. And I didn't say this out loud, but there was a moment when Eli Lilly broke 800 this morning.
Yeah, right.
I was very close to, and we don't trade our personal accounts, our personal long-term accounts while we're on the show. Pre-market, after in the middle of the day, aftermarket kind of thing. But I was going to sell some Eli Lilly on that guidance number. That was a huge mistake not doing so because Eli Lilly's down 8%. I think maybe if it goes down 10%, you could see some kind of an SSR bounce. But that revised guidance from Eli Lilly not looking very good. It's absolutely bleeding here. So I'm not going to speculate at where the bottom might be, but there might be a mean reversion or a trend trade or a 10% down type bounce coming in here on Eli Lilly. As a shareholder, I'm not complaining. I have Eli Lilly at a good price, but gut was telling me to sell when it popped through 800, and I should have done so. Let's go for happening now with ADR. Stung.
Quite honestly, what isn't happening now? This most recent 15-minute candle here on the S&P 500 opening at 9:45 was a bearish engulfing candle that took out the last 4, almost 5 candles worth of price action. So lots of weakness kind of slamming into the market here. Take a look at the NASDAQ, looking pretty similar here. We were a little bit range bound trying for a breakout, but we were unable to fulfill that. And the market actually looked great to start because we had, as a whole, a little bit cooler than expected PPI, specifically the year-over-year prints, both normal and core, actually coming in lower, notably lower than expected, as were PPI on the month-over-month basis as well. Tomorrow's CPI is certainly going to be on watch now. We are expecting, much like we were with the PPI, marginal growth for most of these metrics. We're going to have to see if we get that tomorrow. Now that this PPI has come in a little bit cooler. No data right now, but Fed Schmidt taking the mic here at 10 a.m., so keep an eye out for that. Also, keep an eye on Tesla, one of the stronger names to start the day. Elon Musk apparently being floated around here, as reported by Bloomberg, to potentially buy TikTok so that it can continue its operations in the U.S. Again, the deadline for this is fast approaching. They have until January 19th, so about 5 days. Next up here, Eli Lilly, as mentioned by Neil. This has nary a single green 3-minute candle since we opened here today. Basically, this guidance still implies 32% year-over-year increase in revenue, but it is about 3% below their previous guidance issued on October 30th, which also resulted on a drop on earnings. So keep an eye on LLY, potentially trying to bounce right now. We also have AMD. This one is a tale of 2 analyst moves. Loop Capital initiating coverage with a buy rating and a $175 price target, while KeyBank actually lowering its price target to $150. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Back to you guys.
Trying to bounce that's a very operative term for Eli Lilly. It's doing a bit of a bottoming out here, but it's not really catching. There's not much bidding on the tape, and every single time it gets to an even dollar, there just seems like there's a bit of a brick wall there as it just struggled to get through 35 and struggled to get through 36, and you're just not seeing a lot of follow through. I don't really like it all that much. AMD doesn't get to the 115 level. Unfortunately, no shot at that just yet. Tesla, we wanted pre-market lows. Doesn't get anywhere close, but it's now making a bit of a rounded bottom on Tesla. I'll take that. I mean, You've made a bit of a low. You're breaking the trend. If you can get back above VWAP, it's going to look a heck of a lot better. I mean, Tesla's up 3%. Still want to only look for the long trade here until it makes some kind of a breakdown underneath this 412 level. Start breaking down underneath there, and then we can like it. Might take a shot at VWAP here on Mara. So the short's been up at 18, but as long as we broke the prior market lows, and now you're coming back in, I think at this time of day, usually looking for the VWAP setup. So if we do get a fade off of VWAP, I'll try to add in here and then play it back into the low of the day on Mara. NVIDIA's kind of a nothing burger to me. And the only other name I'm watching is Rigetti, as it still doesn't want VWAP at this point. So it's holding on at 740. I like 720. You're like, why 720? That's where we're getting out because that was yesterday's afternoon resistance. So if it's holding above that, I think a bull flag above 720 sets up to buy the dip somewhere in the quarter range on RGTI. 28% to the upside. It's an SSR name, so I think it can squeeze a little bit further.
A little bit.
So yeah, going to stick with MAR for now until Tesla looks a little bit better. And the reason not rushing into Tesla is simple. Like it's still lower highs on Tesla. Still lower highs into the same bottom until it forces that rounded bottom, puts in some higher lows. I'm not catching a falling knife. Not when you had a false break at 420. Let's go to Adair, take care of some biz.
Let's do that.
Part of the show is brought to you by Prop Firm Match. Are you a skilled trader that's lacking capital? Prop firms offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase your skills, access account sizes ranging from 5K to 500K, and you can start with as little as $20. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which ones are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed prop firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. Scan that QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and find the perfect prop firm for you. Back to you.
We talk about that. We're with Real Trading. Go find your best prop firm that you're able to. ASAP. Thank you to propfirmmatch.com. I want to make sure I got that email and website correct. Go find the link in description as well. All right, man, there it is. Again, I just want to talk about this. We are very light. We have less than 10% of both of these positions, both Apple and the TQs. We are so lucky to get that. Lucky? No, because we're sitting there. We always bid the 75s, right? We bid the O's. So a bunch of outs there on the O's, a bunch of outs there at 75 as we come all the way back upside right now in this lovely stock market today. One more time. It's been a tricky one. I don't think there's any doubt about that today as we went upside. Fooled a lot, didn't fool us, but fooled a lot there in that initial spot as we were ripped up to the upside and got going there a little bit. What's up to Kyle Burdett and everybody out there that was bearish with me earlier there today. The two biggest trades of the day, Apple and the TQs, naturally for the shorts. I mean, that's just what it is. All right, so Palantir, I told you not to fear about Palantir. But that 68, that was up almost 4% there. Nice little fade out on PLTR. So let's just zoom this out just a little bit. Looky right there again. 2 days ago, that high of 68 and change comes into play right there. Again, Randy, I'd show you my trades again, but then you'll make me pay for lunch, so I'm not going to do that. But Palantir, yeah, exactly. Palantir down there, 66 and change. So far, so good for that name, and we'll wait to see if Palantir can get going. But Randy, we believed in the short today, and this is what wound up happening. Short. Thought it was going to go against us. We put on our biggest position up top there. And the best part about it, Randy, is, and I don't want to take you away from your job, but if you're watching Trader TV Live, we discussed this level. And we talked about how we like this level. It's right here on the sticky note as well. Came into 78, then the drop back in. High of the day into the low of the day. And that's where we started on that PPI number. So there we go, Randy. We'll still look at here. Let's do some XOM. We haven't looked at energy for a minute. Is it today? Okay, that's fine. Still down 0.7. We'll see. I mean, I still really like these levels down here at 106, 107. But we got to figure out what's wrong with it because it's not moving. Yeah, 106. Yeah, 106 in Park. I saw you saying. What's happened to South Park, by the way? I haven't had any episodes in a while. Did they get?
They did an Ozempic episode.
I know, but I think that was 2023.
Was that last year?
Yeah, last year was 2024. I think it was.
I like CVX in here.
Yeah. Okay. Chevron?
Explain to me why Chevron is this and XOM. Like maybe there's something we're missing on. Like this is Chevron and then this is XOM load. Hey, it worked. It's just distinctly different. Like XOM can't seem to get off the bottom, whereas Chevron is looking fantastic. You can get the dividend both ways, and obviously I think in the long term, both of them are probably fine. Yes. But it's just an interesting look. I don't wonder if it doesn't catch up on a breakout trade, and we might be missing an opportunity here on Chevron.
There's a floor on XOM around 105. A floor around 105, lots of cash in the bank. A bounce back play off 105-ish. Into the new year, there's a little bit of upside here, level. So I'm not worried about it. It's a good. We like the movement. It's good stuff.
Inauguration going to be coming in, obviously, and people like Drill Baby Drill. That's definitely not going to hurt both those names. No. Nice little divvy as well, so you get a little bit of cash. And in the chat there, I've seen a few people mention two names that we haven't looked at. But before we get to what's good in the hood. We are back. The market is coming back upside. So Mara has been a short at 18. We're going to get an opportunity. I still have a quarter, but if we can get a curl here at the same resistance as before, going to look for a mean reversion on Mara. So something like this, and I have a 3-minute chart up. I hate when it puts a new candle in as I'm trying to draw that. But yeah, if it reverts this trend, something like that, but I didn't draw the right trend line, but you'll get the idea. If we can close underneath trend line or just retest up at 18, I want to add back into the short. But guess what is going? All is good in the hood. This is now at $43 and flying, up 8.5% Robinhood. And the other name in the, let's just call it the SoFi space. In the finance space, SoFi up 5% and retracking toward 15. This is big for SoFi because it's a 50-period moving average, and this looked like it was bleeding down. What SoFi now has going for it, and I'll hit save this time so I don't have to do this again, it's now got a pretty distinct, poorly drawn downward channel, but you get the idea. If it can close the 50-period, it's going to try to close above $15 above this channel top. And if that can happen, I think you get a retest of the high. So finance names looking pretty decently there, but I got to lock in potentially at a curl trade here. Even on, look, if we didn't get short on AMD at 120, and AMD can't even get to VWAP when the market's trying to get back to the highs, there's something that happens when you don't get the trade that you want, and it's called anchoring. So this morning, when we're like, 120 is the level on AMD, well, when you don't get a short at 120, psychologically, you don't want to short at 116 or 117. Because in your brain, you're like, well, I'm not wrong till 120. But you have to find a separate trade. So that's what I got to be able to do here on AMD. And I think it could be up at VWAP. Maybe it'll be this little high into 116.80, 116.90. But as the market creeps on in, if AMD curls under VWAP, I got to be able to short it. This is a name that we've liked short in the chip space for a while, and it didn't get our price today. We're probably not going to see 120 today to be able to short it. And if we do, well, if we see 120 today, then something crazy has happened in the market. So let's wait around for VWAP in here. Let's see if we can't get that Mara fill as it's trying to revert the trend as we speak, but not yet.
All right. We're kind of the same way right now, just trying to find out for where the next trade's going to be, right? I mean, it's going to be somewhere. We just got to find it. So I'm not going to reload the TQs, but I mean, up here I will. If it comes up into this level again, we still have that same stop. I mean, we have less than 10% left of this trade, obviously, as we get all the way to the downside. I just got to be better and just like get out of everything, but I never know where it's going to stop, right? If I would have got out of everything, it probably would have been the 200 period moving average. All right, so let's put an offer up there again. Where are we short at? Set 95. Let's do that exact same trade again there at 95. We'll offer that out. And looks like the momentum's changed, right? I mean, we are going to have a nice little upside tick here in the market. I did want to look at Google. Google bouncing nicely. We said about 190, right? Could be coming into play there today. And we wanted to go up or down through 190. It was a great call. But again, it only gets down to 190.50. So, yeah. When I'm saying it was a great call because if you had opened up this day down right there into 190.36, so there is, and I'll use the terminology a little bit different, but there could be your anchor, as Neil talked about in a different reference, but that could have been your reference price right there at 190.50 again. Then it came back in, bounced off 190.50, and then upside. So we talked about Google being a little less than the market today, so we weren't super excited about trading this name to necessarily the long side. But right back into pre-market, I would still say it's a short if we get to 192.50. But if that happens and the market is blown through, and why would we be shorting anyways? So let's just be very, very careful with that trade right there as well. So, all right, let's go talk about some Esignal.
Just 1 minute, just in 1 minute, we'll take your.
I think you said I'm ready.
No, I was talking to.
Oh, you're talking to them. Okay.
It's one of those like when, what can you do?
over.
Like I'm trying to whisper to Fabian. Whisper to Fabian. But of course, you're going to hear because you're right next to me. No, we're locked and loaded, ready to go. But Tesla's now holding higher lows into VWAP, so it does hold on to 415. Trying to get this on the way back upside. Mars still close to that 18 level, so I do want to respect it. I am trying to pick up shares at 18, but it's still chilling out at 1790. AMD is nowhere near VWAP.
We should have reloaded.
Not going to catch that falling knife. No, let's see it bounce off VWAP first. Let's not anticipate. Let's participate instead of anticipate. But I feel like AMD teased us with the shot at VWAP, and Mara doesn't want to give us that 18 level just yet. So patience. Let's actually see a bounce off VWAP for confirmation on Tesla. Either you get it breaking through 15 or you get it holding through that 15 level. So are we locked and loaded, Fabian? 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. The anticipation is forever. What are we waiting for?
It's killing me.
What could we possibly waiting for?
It's literally
3,
killing me.
2, and 1. What we're waiting for, everybody, is Work sport. Esignal. We like Esignal too, but introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ, it is Work Sport, WKSP on said NASDAQ. Check them out because they're a US-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, innovative green energy products designed to power your life off the grid. And whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, WorkSport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP, discover the future of clean energy with WorkSport. And I can confirm you can scan that QR code you see in front of you. It is working now. Check out the link in the description. Shout out to WorkSport. And hey, appreciate them for the sponsorship. Tesla is now finally starting to hold above that VWAP. So I like the plaid. I like the red plaid on the there is that we're still running
the work
with
sport. Yes.
Work Sport. And I do car camping and it never looks that nice. Who is putting up those kind of lights when they go car camping? That's just way too much work, man. I ain't doing all that, man. Getting up the tarp is enough work for me, and then I just want a beer. So
it's too much noise.
As far as I'm concerned. So there's a close above VWAP. There's your confirmation, close above VWAP. So we'll look to see if we can't pick something up in the 416 range on Tesla. Mara is creeping. All right, we're starting to creep higher and higher and higher into that 18. We just held on to VWAP, so this is not the time yet. We have not broken trend on Mara. We're attempting to. That's not the best drawn trend line, but if you connect the dots, we have not broken underneath the trend. AMD, well, we said don't anchor to your price. It resisted 116.70 earlier. It just did a double tap of 116.60. So I'll go with a tight stop where the range is right now. So AMD down almost 1%. The market's at the highs. So when you get to the highs, if it's a resistance level, I only want to short a weak stock. So this one's a weak stock. It's underneath the 60 level, can give it a relatively tight stop if we get back down into the quarters. 116 even, 115.70. Those are going to be some price targets. So we are screaming into the high of the day, but that doesn't mean everything is participating in this move. At least not yet.
No, exactly. All right, so some good looks there. We missed it the first time. We'll put on the siren now because it's going to be a new trade right here, and that's going to be Apple. So we just tried it there at 236 again. It did wick higher. Our stop is always the 20s. So we'll take a shot here try to give it about 30 cents worth of room. It just went down into the 40s again off of that fail. So I think it's probably worth it if we do get a little bit of a retracement. I'm being pretty specific with the futures trade and looking for that upside move. We just did talk a little bit about Google. Another name, I think SMR here at that $20 mark is going to be interesting. It's just danced around it. If we do get a dip buy again into the 200 period, I like new scale here, SMR into 1950, 1960 area. So we are getting close. Again, if the market dips, we're going to have Apple, we're going to have everything on board here. So it's going to be fine. But at the end of the day, I do kind of like this SMR if we do get a dip buy opportunity into those levels. Uber moving around a bit as well. I don't remember the last time it was 1018. I mean, NVIDIA was my #1 trade yesterday, P&L wise, I believe anyways. And it looks like here today, we're going to try to do something similar with it. But haven't made a trade yet. Still up 1%. So much, much more excited here than the actual market itself is NVIDIA. But nice pullback. There's that 133 level. If we zoom out a little bit for NVIDIA, still underneath the 50-period moving average and under the 200 here on the 5-minute chart, but dancing around these levels. I like the short, actually, 134.60. What are we looking at right now? Okay, so we're getting yeah, all right. So that's right now around VWAP. It's not horrible right now. We did reshort the market. Sorry, we did reshort. We should have reshorted the market. I was waiting again at 95. It gets as high as 80s. But instead, we picked our poison this time with Apple and reshorted right there. But that last name that we were just talking about there.
SMR?
SMR, and then there was, NVIDIA. This is going, to me, it's interesting because it's like on this downturn. And right now it's equal with the market. So yeah, man, under VWAP, under. If we're short the market right now, this might be a much better play than this Apple short for sure. So you have a lot of action right here, 135, 134.50. So just, I'm feeling the short in NVIDIA. So if you're going to be short any of the chip names to me right now, or I haven't looked at any of the other ones, but I like this play right here for NVIDIA, short underneath this 134, 135. We're short the market, we're short Apple. Let's get something out a little bit here on the TQs. Okay.
Oh my God.
Pretty conveniently looking at it right there as it dips back into those levels. And oh my God, Neil, we did it again on Apple, man. We did it again right there, man. Hit the sirens up. Looks like it wants to fade just a little bit. We'll put some 74s out, get something out. We are bidding a little bit lower than this, man. We talked about where we wanted this into the 60s. We were just bidding 69 and missed it. So we'll bid a little bit lower now, see if we can get that into 69, then 60s, and then we'll wait out for some 50s. But so far, so good here on the Apple. And we do have a graphic for that. So not bad there for AAPL.
Yeah, get down. And Apple going to the downside. AMD just tagged 116, but the buyers came back in. So we grabbed it short 116.5.
There it goes.
It just broke through 116, got to like maybe 10 cents underneath. And then I want to call it a buy program, but someone just sort of flashed the bid right back up to the 116 level. So maybe let it settle itself down, still downward trending. We're looking for the low of the day here on AMD. But remember, I kind of felt that 115 was a buy spot today. So if we break the low on AMD, I'm looking to get all out and start looking for a long at 115. So we finally short this stock. Like I said, you're not going to see 120 on it, so you got to find the next available trade. And it just happened to be here because that's where the curl was on advanced micro devices. Let's go to Adara for the small cap recap.
The IWM actually, I would say, looking much stronger here than the rest of the market. We had that pop into 220 when we had the PPI data, which was pretty well received. Since then, we've been below that 220, but as of right now, we're coiling up towards it. If we break that 220, that could be a great look for IWM, which has some clear support and is in a bit of an uptrend from yesterday as well. RNA is our first small cap gapper, up more than 100%. They are a penny stock. Eterna Therapeutics reporting some positively received results here on their ovarian cancer treatment. Then we have ThreadUp, TDUP. This one had a really strong open, still up about 43% here, expecting Q4 revenue above their prior outlook, so raising their Q4 revenue guide for TDUP. Last but not least here, we have Rich Tech Robotics. I could not find a catalyst on this name, up about 50%, but this name tends to rally pretty frequently. They are a small cap in the 100 millions in market cap. So I think below that $500 million market cap area. They also do have about a 12% short float for RR, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, it's been a popular name.
This Erna
for our chat.
It's going to do a billion. It's going to do a billion shit.
A billion? What's the price of that?
283 million at 10.20, and it's almost at $1. Okay, so Irma. No, it's actually ERNA.
Erna.
Yeah, Erna. Sorry, sometimes I want a stock to be cool with the ticker, So Irma's a name, and then Erna's nothing cool. So I just wanted to call it something else. But yeah, upward trend, 300 million shares is great for a penny stock. You want penny stocks that actually do huge volume. So 5-10 million is good on maybe like a different kind of small capper. But if this is going to break the dollar level and do a 500 million shares, it's on the radar for me. I'm going to double check. We probably have to pay for locates. If it fails the dollar, I like shorts on failing the dollar level if it can get up there. But this just got on my radar, 100p. So I'm going to put that up on a side chart. Still in AMD, still, I mean, Amara just refused to break the 18 level there. It looked like it was going to break 18. And every short I've had has been 99. Like it's shorted 99 twice, breaking down underneath 18. However, when we were bouncing, I was looking for what like money fills. So if there's a resistance level like an 18 even, and it's breaking and there's better prices up there to give it to the high, I think the money fills are when everyone's shorting in front of 18, it kind of breaks the even dollar, and then you just sort of get in as people are getting out of the 18 break. So we'll try to get those. It didn't actually break 18 bucks. It looked like it was going to, but it didn't. AMD still working into that downside, but suddenly this Erna is got a little bit of my attention if it gets to that dollar level. Keep that one on watch.
Yeah, so the Apple reload obviously has worked out. We captured some nice little profits there. The TQQ reload would have worked beautifully, but it doesn't. We get it out again well, we don't have it. It's fine. As we get there out at the 200 period moving average on this name, TQs again, like we just had these two trades, man. We're looking for some more. What about DJT right there? Good out for us, I guess, at VWAP, but it does go all the way back to 41.50 again as soon as we get out. I didn't even really realize that. Now it's starting to break lower, so that was a great hold if you're able to do that. But nice move back up, and then only to fail one more time here is, of course, DJT. So we'll have to look to see where it goes from here. Looks like it wants to continue to go lower. Watch out for 39, obviously possible break spot right there for DJT. But all right, so let's just continue to look for something else. TQs, BABA. I mean, I don't know if my scanner's not moving or not. Not much is happening right now. RGTI, I know that was a name you're looking at. $8. That's going to be a good one.
That XXAI.
Oh, yeah. That name was a good one the other day. XXAI was
22nd century.
Yeah, that one from like 25 cents down to 5 cents or something.
Well, it's kind of dumping today. But
okay, so XXIA. And what is that today now?
It's up 19%, but it's...
Oh, not that name. I was thinking XTIA. Do you remember that one?
Oh, the penny stock.
Yeah.
Well, so with XXII, for anyone that's watching, it's already halted once to the upside, but this feels like it's been a trap long, and some people don't like shorting these kind of stocks, but if you look at the last couple of pops to the upside, it did a secondary push and then flushed again. So if it does the same pattern, some kind of a lower high off 8 would make some sense on that one, but you're right, it's XTIA. And Zion Lala, great question.
Uh-oh.
While we mentioned Eli Lilly, and I said SSR bounce play, Rigetti qualifies for that as well. If a stock, and Lilly didn't get down 10%, so I guess Rigetti's a better example of this. Yesterday, Rigetti was down over 10%, so therefore the uptick rule is in effect. The uptick rule simply means that if you want to go short, like I was short here through 7, thank goodness we got away from it, wow. If you want to go short, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either, why is this Coinbase? I must have been looking at it at some point. You can either sit on the offer over here and just say, I want to get shares at 808. Or you can say, I want shares right now, I'm going to hit the bid and take all these buyers here, I'm just going to take them out, and I'm going to aggressively short. When the uptick rule is in effect, you cannot aggressively short unless the last print is green. So if a stock is just flushing to the downside, you can't just start hammering the bid to go short, unfortunately. So that makes it a little bit easier for it to get some relief rallies, as people have to chase it down with the short, and then when it catches a bid, they chase it down a bit, and then it kind of explodes to the upside. So when the stock is SSR, we like when it gets in an upward squeeze trend sometimes, and you want to be able to get away from it. Now, Lilly didn't ultimately go down there to 10%, which is what I was kind of looking for it to get to 10% down. And then a stock like that, if it catches a bid, it can sometimes really fly. And it doesn't mean guaranteed a stock is going to bounce because the short sell restricted. It just gives it a little bit more oomph when it does start going in. Of course, this Erna doesn't want to get to $1. Nothing fun there. Let's see how it reacts to the trend line on ERNA, as the volume is really, really good with this one. Our locates were 1/10 of 1 cent for locates on that, which obviously is really cheap, but we did have to pay for locates. Actually, relatively speaking, compared to other stocks, that's actually pretty expensive because we'll pay 1/10 of 1 cent on DJT.
Right.
And this one is an 80-cent stock. DJT is a $40 stock. So technically speaking, the locates were a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, I guess it just matters on the availability of them, right? I mean, if there's like a whole bunch outflowing, then they shouldn't charge. Your broker should not charge you too much for some of those. And that's why we try to give you, what our ease of borrow is, and then maybe you guys have something similar on that one. And oh boy, are we doing it again? There's 100 handles. I mean, we just take that out right there again. It's not another one. It's more of just a floss right there as it's coming back down. And then the other reload that we've had on for you again, like we're trying to make trading simple again. Just like you're making America great again, apparently, just going to make trading simple again. Right into that level again, boom, right down there into the 50-period moving average. We keep it tight, we keep it real, and we keep it flowing on this side. So that's what we're doing right now for that one. Let's have a check quickly to see who's with us right now today, because I'm just going to open up and I have to refresh this, so I'm going to have to do that for you guys right now. But let's find out how many of you are watching right now. 8,600. We like that. I'm going to refresh, see how many likes we got on this bad boy. We should have a lot, I would think. Over 1.1K. Thank you so much for all the likes and the subscribes, man. I hope you're having a great time today. We have VWAP coming up on the midday show as our Learn to Trade crew is ready to get locked and loaded on that topic. So if you have any questions about VWAP, or you're wondering, like I have VWAP on all of my charts there, it's always the purple line, if you see that there on the futures again and on the 1 minute chart. I don't use it so much on higher time frames, but it's all the same anyways. I just don't want to clog up my charts as I sit here and watch the 1 minute chart. So watch out for some view. I'm going to have to restart. I'm going to close my Esignal, or at least actually I'm just going to refresh the page, because I haven't seen anything hit on these scanners in a while. The last thing was Alibaba down here in Google.
It's possible nothing's hitting.
From 10:11 though. So I'm just gonna refresh. You can actually grab the Esignal, and you can go into here and then say, oh, it goes up here. Anyways, it's reload page. So you reload the page, and then everything resets, and now it's closed. So I have to wait for it to. You can't see anything, but it's on my other screen. There it is. So now everything's reloaded. Here's the alert ticker now. Will now start to populate one more time. So there it is. There goes Coinbase right now popping off as well near VWAP. So there it is. So there's the Coinbase VWAP scanner coming into play right there again for Esignal. So we'll go over to Coinbase and have a quick look to see. So there's a perfect example of what we're talking about. Yes, so there's the break right there on Coinbase, breaking through VWAP. So there we go, man. I mean, that's a perfect live example right there of using a scanner to try to look for an opportunity. We really like Coinbase. This was a pick that we had, but at the same time, it's floating with crypto. So I like crypto. I like the spot here. I like that low 90 area. We talked about our last buy was 94,125, and that was right around Christmas time. So we didn't get anything in those low 90s, but we'll wait to see if Coinbase right now can hold out on this 200 period moving averages. But that was just a little quick look there on the Esignal scanner and the resets.
Yeah, it's a great look. And sometimes, those little hints and hacks or quick, easy fixes are good to know. So
you notice your scanner's not moving. Like normally when you have a VWAP scanner and I see the market
should be hitting.
Yeah, the market broke VWAP 5 minutes ago, and I don't have any VWAP scanners popping off. So yeah, you got to get that.
If Coinbase is at VWAP and Bitcoin is at 96.5 and Mars at the low of the day, my guess is some of the crypto names are going to be under a little bit of pressure as we go to Adara for said crypto update.
Perfect.
Right?
I think so.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Time to look at crypto here, as we always do around this time of day. Basically here, BTC still in a bit of a rounded top on the daily chart, generally with these lower highs, though yesterday we did quite the feat, breaking below that 90,000, then pushing back viciously. We looked at that 15-minute chart this morning and saw outsized volume on that recovery. So this BTC, this 90,000 area support, but just below, is a great look. Ethereum USD also on watch here. They had even a worse day possibly than Bitcoin if possible, breaking below that 3,000 level, currently at 3,200. But this chart also seeing some lower highs and lower lows, especially from the start of the year on the daily chart. Also, it's worth noting here, we had pretty significant outflows. Bitcoin ETFs with about 284 million in outflows. Ethereum here with 39.4 million in outflows, and that's the fourth straight day of outflows for Ethereum-related products. Let's take a look at how these other crypto names are doing. XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin all up more than 4%. BNB up about 2.5%. Solana and Dogecoin both strong. Cardano up about 5.5%. generally speaking, a very green day for crypto and its adjacent products, guys. Back to you.
I like that one there.
Adjacent products for sure, but keep in mind, some things are always stronger than others in crypto land. So I think we've seen it, like Coinbase holds up much better than, well, I mean, any of the miners that I've looked at ever. And so Mars up 2%, but I feel like if you only look at percent up on the session, it's a bit tricky for a trader, especially a day trader, because if you see, like, yeah, we gapped up, but we then failed a high break, put in a lower high, and are retesting the low. So it's to me, it's trend down on Mara, and you're back at that gap fill portion, which is just not filling in the gap. It's gone 18 to 17.5. Now this is the second time it's done it. If we don't break out here, it didn't hold on to VWAP, it got to 18. A lower high should put it back into VWAP for reload. I missed that one thinking we're going to get better than 18. That was probably a little bit greedy and a bit of a mistake. That Erna, there we go. It wicked the trend line, so it didn't hold the bid on this trend since the open, but it held on to 80 cents rather nicely. So we're just going to zoom this back in. If we can maybe hold that 80 even, see if we can't get a long into $1. I want no part of longs breaking a high of the day at 95 cents when $1 is overhead. So I want to catch something in the 80s if we can on ERNA. 315 million shares volume. I'm pretty sure Sharif is going to have fun with
Sharif,
this.
yeah.
We'll see. I mean, actually, no, he says he doesn't like penny stocks.
Oh, yeah, I know what he was talking about. Yeah, yesterday I think he said he didn't have too much success with them, but I mean, it comes and goes every single day. As far as penny stocks are concerned, I mean, we've nailed the penny stocks. I almost think that we should switch up our style, and then we go over and we do this kind of stuff on the Qs today. Over 140 handles now in the money on the same exact trade as it just continues to go to the downside here as the NASDAQ just bleeding again lower, man. I mean, Neil, man, did we ever nail this trade today? Fabian, let's go over to this right now because this is something to be seen, I feel like, here on the futures as we just continue to, watch it rock and roll here. Higher and higher, goes the net here as the futures just continue to drop in. Like, I mean, that just came out of nowhere into the day's low almost again. Like, I don't know, the market right now giving some of that back. We talked about how we wanted this trade. We should have reloaded it there. We did reload Apple. Apple's actually a little disappointing right now. So now that I look at this again, this is the part of what we have to do. If we're going to trade more shares, we have to be aggressive when certain levels are hit, and we have to keep our eyes on the prize. And right now, we did get a little sidetracked there because we should have got some out right there at 635.50. We didn't put a bid there. We should have. So we do it now in here into 62. We'll see if we can get some bids now. Low 60s right now on Meta. Hopefully that will be able to come through for us. So yeah, that's it. Meta's moving because there was 10% of non-regrettable attrition by end of current performance cycle. So Meta looking to cut some employees right now, which is never a good sign for moving forward. I mean, why, if you have so many profits just floating in there, why are you worried about cutting some employees? But we've talked about the year of efficiencies, and we've made a good call on Meta recently, buying that dip into the hundreds and then all the way back up. All right, I just showed you something there on Esignal. I think it's important that we understand to scan that QR code there, which is working, by the way. Scan the QR code down there below to make sure that you do get involved. Fabian, Mr. Fabian. The guy tells me we have Esignal ad read, Esignal ad read, He's too busy over there. Where is Ramin anyways? All right, so shout out to everybody there on Esignal. I like the platform. We just showed you some scanners, real time, what's involved there. And I think if you're gonna be a busy trader, that's what you need. You want a reliable platform. You wanna be able to understand it. They have great technical support as well. Make sure you do go over there, scan the QR code, tell them that we sent you. It is Esignal right there. Trade smarter, not harder, and trade faster as well. Charts that change the game, scanners that we use all the time, minute charts, tick charts, back test. And you could back test tick charts on this thing, second charts. Tick replay is the best on this, and that's what I've used to develop many of the strategies that you see here today, which obviously on a day like today have really, well, on a day like today, on a day like what's been this past couple years in the market, we said it's pretty much been one of the best times for day trading in a very long time. I mean, it all sort of kicked off there with COVID being absolutely fantastic, and then it sort of just kept on pushing through. When we had back-to-back years of 20+% gains in the ES.
I don't think we see that this year.
And even higher. No, I think 8%, and even higher in the NASDAQ. So it's been quite a run and quite a wicked opportunity to sit here and trade, which is why for me today, it's DJT, it's Apple, and it's the NASDAQ. So we just continue to be short bias, absolutely nail these calls today, man. And really, really proud to have done that. Listed it on here. It's the same trades. And, you know, everything's printing out for us right now. Meta continues to fall down that 2.5%, 4%. But we're all good, man. Look what's happening right here with the futures. We have this call on board right now. We'll put another bid out here into the 30s if we can get it. But so far, so good. And there it goes again, man. Just props it up. It is what it is. Thank you, Gail and everybody. Look, it's hard enough to make calls. I mean, we could go over all of the trades that we've made today. You'll see, I'll be 2 for 3 with big ones, right? And there it is. Thank you, Gail, for acknowledging that, right? I mean, it's talking about how, you know, we were correct nailing that short. It's hard to do that, and that's why you guys should be joining in 8:30 every day. We have the ideas. We only wrote down some short ideas. We talked about fading that PPI number. I mean, that's exactly the trade that we talked about. Once, twice, thrice. Boom, to the downside. Give you 3 huge trades if you're looking there. So, yeah, so far so good here today. It's been obviously a great one, and let's just continue. We're up more today at this point than we were yesterday, and yesterday was a trophy day. So today we keep on going higher, man. It's 10:40. The fun's just getting started, I feel like. We have a great midday show.
Yeah, we're going to talk about VWAP, but, well, the midday boys are going to talk about VWAP. Well, we won't be, but we always talk about VWAP as an opportunity in the afternoon or at lunchtime. To trade off of some levels. And I don't think some of these stocks are going to get back into it at least anytime soon. And a shout out to Kyle Burdett because, yeah, when I'm like, I don't think the market's going to go 20% this year, Kyle pointed out, well, you could go 20% after going down 30% or down something. Yes, at some point, the market will probably have a 20% bounce in it, but I don't think it does a 20% gain from start to finish, just to clarify that. So, yeah, of course, it doesn't take much for the market to bounce 20% from any given point. So what entry rule in for AMD, if I short something at the low like this, obviously it's just put in another trend. As it tries to break the low of the day, I still think 115 is going to be the spot where we look for a little bit of support. This is where it started program buying. That's all it is. Like right in here, it broke 115 downside in midday and then just caught a heck of a bid on AMD. So anywhere in here, if it reverts trend, I'm out. So we didn't get our 120 level. We're just trying to find an easy entry, which was it put in a lower high, it put in another lower high. It showed you the level here at 116.60. So simply just offer in front of the new resistance level. But if we break trend back up, I'm going to cover. Mara is still now, okay, now it's actually broken down, but it is still on trend. Obviously, the next stop, I don't think this is rocket science. Yesterday's high was right in here at 1740, and then you have an afternoon high at 1730. As a matter of fact, I'm like, why did we not get on the bid here? So we're going to get on the bid at 1740. And again, like for me, a trade wants to work right away or it doesn't work at all. Like I want something. Here, let me just show you. 'Cause you can't actually see where and why we're getting in tomorrow unless I pull out the 15-minute chart. Like I want it not breaking here so we can take the short. So if I'm taking a range-bound trade like this, if it breaks out above there, it's got to come back underneath. Mara gave you that setup. But conversely, on Intel, we go for a breakout off a level like that, breaks under prior low, get out. If I was looking short at Intel, it would look just like Mara, but I was looking long. That's what I want a trade to look like if it doesn't work. You try the break, it breaks underneath, out. And then if Mara does hold, ideally we could have got it a third time. We didn't get it a third time. Now we'll see if it can get down into that 17 area as Bitcoin. I mean, IBIT's not really doing that much, to be honest with you guys. Like this is IBIT.
Right.
It's a completely inside day for Bitcoin. You have not broken the low. You have not really broken the high since the pre-market. So you kind of just got to let Mara fly wherever it happens to go to. Bitcoin's holding up rather nicely, but it's just a different ball game. That's why we like shorting Mara because, quite frankly, when it comes to the miners, they're just not that good in this current Bitcoin bull run. Let's go to Adara and see how maybe the US dollar is doing. Oh no, Sector Watch, I keep saying that.
It is, in fact, sector watch, and these sectors are performing in ways that are distinctly different from one another. Lots of strength in finance. Great look here for producer manufacturing. Consumer services relatively strong. process industries, transportation, consumer durables led to the upside by Tesla here, and retail trade relatively a good look as well. Health technology, though, is hugely struggling, and that's led by Eli Lilly, which did basically drop their revenue growth guidance by 3%. So again, still expecting 32% year-over-year revenue growth for fiscal 2024, but I guess traders and investors not liking this as much as I guess was expected. Health services pretty quiet, as is energy minerals. Let's talk about the tech sector. Meta down about 2%. It's worth noting here, there is, as Sean mentioned there, that report from Reuters suggesting the company is going to be cutting its lowest performing members. Are looking for about a 5% workforce cut from what I read there as reported by Reuters. Netflix also to the downside, but CRM and Oracle looking really good here. Electronic technology, shockingly NVIDIA, one of the few red names here because Broadcom is really strong. We have some strength here as well in Qualcomm and some of these other tickers. Keep an eye on AMD, which is slightly red on the day. We had one price target decrease from KeyBank and an upgrade from Luke Capital, guys. Like and subscribe.
Use the force, Luke.
Good update there as we talk about some of the different names other than what we've really been looking at there today. We did bring you that Meta. I mean, good, another pretty decent out rate there for us. I'm going to take another out on Apple here just because we're getting lower and lower on our expected moves right now. I mean, we just bounced off the 200 period. We had such a small piece left. Like I pretty much ignored that and went right over to the futures because it was more of a dramatic move. And we should have, again, we were like surprised that Apple was holding out so well. But there's the dip down into the 200 period moving average. So yeah, with pie on my face, we should have got out there, but we can make decisions and we make great ones all the time, and sometimes I miss them, and we should have focused on that, and we did not. So right there, good outs for TQs. We're really happy with that. Now that things are back into the swing of things, let's go to Amazon again, 220. So again, another one of those magical levels that we always talk about, over and under right now. So we hold 220 beautifully off the open, basically. We get to 219 at 70. Nice move up there to 221.50. Then fall right back into 220's lap again and supported by the 200 period. Then you fall right back into it again. And if you were long, well, there's the 200 period to get you out, which would have helped you with that play because then it goes down into 219. And we talk about it, saving yourself all of that money, to the downside. So that's a trade that we don't have, but that would have been a good one there at 220. Now that we're underneath VWAP, underneath the 50 period moving average, underneath the 200 period, I think Amazon's a short. So what about a short into this level right there? Good level, 220.30, 220.25. Let's start the offering in and around 220.25 here for Amazon. But we did this yesterday, we did it today. We've done this a lot. We've creating some content here. And what the point of this is to figure out today exactly what is for lunch. All right. Today for lunch is not bad. I mean, we've had a bunch of these today, Neil, as we are now much higher than even we were yesterday. Chicken dinner winners today, brought to you by grilled herbed breast of chicken. So if you've had some winners today and they have been of the chicken flavor, today you get grilled herbed breast of chicken with roasted cinnamon sweet potato medallions. I feel like this is more like a jerk chicken style here with roasted broccoli. I like the roasted broccoli. We'll see how that all tastes. So hoping that, I think yesterday we had some sausage. Oh, remember yesterday I was saying that could we get the sausage on the
it was a first.
salad? And we did.
It was a first. Yeah. Like sausage was actually the main for the regular lunch. We don't usually get, we usually will get what was the day before we'll get on our salad. I just felt sausage, it's a weird look on a salad.
Yep.
Like it's one thing to have it, like if it's on the side, I'm down with that. But like actually in the salad, it was a first. I've never.
It was on top of the salad. It was on the side. I mean, it was on the side.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I don't know if I was a fan of it. So, put it on the side and good to go. Speaking of on the side, AMD just reverted through our trend line, so we managed to get out there, but it is still working to the downside. I thought we'd retest. Where is my cursor? I thought we'd be able to retest back up at 116.5 or make a bit of a VWAP retest. Mara, I think we got a good out, at least the last one, is you got a big reversal when it pulled into yesterday's high. So it pulled into yesterday's top and then a big reversal coming back in. So maybe this one gets to VWAP for a bit of a reload. And this ERNA is still pulling back down in. It didn't really hold on to 80. So we thought maybe, okay, if we could break the trend, it's going to hold on to 80. You can see clearly here it did not hold on to 80. If anything, when it got down there, 80 turned into temporary resistance. So let's see how it reacts to VWAP at 70. Just looking for it to catch a bid again and stop making lower highs and resume a trend to the upside. I don't mind taking a long into $1. I'm not taking a dollar break on this thing, but I want to see some lower highs get put in on ERNA. I feel like we didn't really talk too much about Palantir today. I don't know if you did.
No,
I know I didn't.
68 I saw, but
I know I didn't. Like Palantir was one when the market was going up. I was like, oh, please, $70 is a great level on Palantir. But look what's happening. Yesterday's high to a T, lower high at VWAP. We were just talking about VWAP as sort of scanning over some things that were on the old list to look at. You're not going to trade at $70 today, barring something crazy. But if it's a rejection of prior day high and a continuation play into lower highs, then this is at VWAP right now. So a bit of a trend reversal, if it can do so under VWAP, will be on the radar for me. Sometimes it's like AMD. Like you're not going to short AMD. Unfortunately, today at $120, you're not going to short Palantir at $70. You just got to find, if you like the short, an entry. So if we get it off VWAP here, still got 10 minutes to go. I think we have a chance for this to break trend, maybe head back into the lows. Palantir, it's up 3%. But that, again, doesn't really tell the full story. At the open, lower highs, lower lows on PLTR.
Yeah, tuna salad, Kyle, is my number one. If we can get tuna on top of the salad,
I'd take that every day.
My number one. All right, so we'll take, sorry, that's the TQs. We will take advantage of Apple this time and take it out at VWAP. So as it comes back into 235.40, with only 10 minutes to go, it is VWAP today on the lunchtime show with Joe and Sharif. So join them today as I'll talk all about that. All right, so SMCI hitting again, hitting days low, SMCI. So let's go over and quickly have a look at that one. Straight to the downside here for SMCI. $32.40 down to $31. We'll have to watch out for this one as that's pulling back in again. We still want that. I mean, the Amazon, I'm assuming, is gone now. We didn't get, too bad. That's still, look, man, money bag yo on that one as we still go short. Wow, the NASDAQ right now is starting to fall, man. We've got 170 handles now in the money on that, and we just continue to bleed lower and lower and lower. And Neil, fool me once, not twice, Joseph. There it goes, a nice little downside move there in the 235 for Apple as we go flushy. Look, man, I hate leaving you guys, man. I wish we could stay here and continue to put the damage on the board right here, but just goes to show you completely different style, right? I've had 3 names today. We've been pretty much in them the whole time. Neil, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names. So pretty close, actually, not bad in that. So we just be very, very specific with what we're looking for, especially for myself here today and for the last couple days. So if there's anything, I like Starbucks, actually. I promised, of course, game-winning goal, you get Starbucks, whatever you want. So we went into a lineup, and it was, man, the drive-through was like, it was actually backfired because I was so upset at the drive-thru. I didn't get anything, but of course she got a matcha frappuccino, and then she got a warmed cheese Danish as well. But the line was ridiculous there at Starbucks at the drive-thru, and that was on a Sunday around like 11-ish.
I won't do the drive.
Yeah, so I was just like, let's just do the drive.
Like, just get out and just go in.
Oh, yeah, we could have easily done that as well. I don't know, there must have been someone in front of us, and oh my God, there we go again, man, to the downside, man. There's only one, and we're here right now. Bye-bye, TQQs. The market is something that is a living and breathing animal, as is Forex. So let's go over and find out what's happening with your money and spend it in the right ways, especially if you have some of these trades there today. Dara?
Second red daily candle in a row for the DXY. What a topping tail candle yesterday. Highs into 110, currently trading around 109.3. We're actually, as of right now, it looks like we're below yesterday's low, so some weakness coming in for the US dollar. And slightly because the market was strong off the open with this PPI data. PPI here year over year, 3.3% below the prior print to 3.5. Core PPI year over year also well received, 3.5% versus 3.8% expected. The month over month numbers are pretty similar, but I really want to emphasize the year over year because that's where we were expecting pretty significant month over month growth, and it did come in lower than expected, which the market likes. It's worth noting CME FedWatch tool, not much of a change here. We still have roughly 97% of participants expecting there will not be a cut. But tomorrow is going to be a huge number now that we have this PPI data. Stay tuned for CPI. data that's going to be coming in. We are expecting, much like PPI, slight increases here, specifically in the non-core numbers. Core, we're actually expecting to be the exact same amount of increases, but CPI year over year, we're expecting 2.9% versus 2.7% prior, and month for month, we're expecting 0.4% versus 0.3% prior. So stay tuned. We'll give you guys those numbers right tomorrow when they come out at 8:30 a.m. Also, stay tuned for comments from Fed's Williams, going to be coming through today at 3:05. Lots of Fed's comments tomorrow morning as well. Back to you.
Maybe Williams.
Go Williams. And yeah, obviously, look, I can't wait for bank earnings to come into play too. I was thinking Thursday, and then of course the day reminded us that it's coming on Wednesday tomorrow. So Erna, it pulled back into VWAP. Just to quickly show you it happened. Timing, if we go to Adair like a second later, we could have been able to show you. But there's the trend breaks. We're looking for it to pull into VWAP. It did a trend reversal. There's the break above the trend line. I got in 77.5 in here. But watch out. There's stacked offers at 80. Okay, never mind. There was just stacked offers at 82, and it just got there a second time, and maybe they were just spoofing. So spoofing would mean, large orders get thrown on the offer, and they pull when it gets close to that price because maybe they don't actually want to fill. But the first time through, there was a stacked up offer there, so I scalped some out in front of that 82 level. If we had broken prior bar low, great, we get out, but it goes to first resistance. So now it's going to be this bar low here underneath 75.5 on ERNA. So just going to manually move that because that's what we have to do on Erna. Still want to see if we can't get something off VWAP on Mara, but it doesn't want to get there yet. So there's the bounce off 17.4 prior day high. Looked like it was trying to work into VWAP a second ago, but all of a sudden starting to run out of steam already on Mara. Haven't gotten a reload since the 18 take and still looking for that opportunity. Want to be patient. I like VWAP at this time of day. It still hasn't really reverted the trend yet, but we might have to jump in and try to grab it at a lower high. Sometimes you've got to buy high, sell higher, sell low, buy back even lower. You're not always going to get that perfect price. And we might not get VWAP just because we want to get it here on Mara.
There's only 5 minutes left. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. We were at 1.1K, and we are now at 1.1K. So keep on going with all of that as Apple comes back into that level. TQQs again, we got that 76 level. You got to bid it to get it. There it is right there. We talked about PPI level. Just came into play one more time there on this name. All right, so we saw NVIDIA before, and we talked about how that was probably, going to be that short underneath the 50 period. Well, it's really starting to bleed now. When we last looked at this thing was up 0.8%. Now you can see clearly to the downside right now is NVIDIA as it just keeps on bleeding lower and lower and lower. Where could this stop? I mean, we got to zoom out to find out. Yeah, not for a while. I mean, I still think you have 130 coming into play here again. So there's going to be a couple different areas of concern here for NVIDIA. You'd like to see this garbage get out of there. So I think it's worth trying in and around 130.50 maybe for NVIDIA just to absorb that. And then if you're going to take it, I don't think you're going to get out until a 129 break. So I'd say give yourself about $1.50 or so worth of wiggle room there on NVIDIA. So share size accordingly on that one. Micron coming into play again, 95.80 or so. So we'll have to see what happens here on Micron. Still a positive name. And I was just looking for names that might be going the other way, right? And I think we have a good example maybe of that right now with Micron versus NVIDIA. This is holding up 1% when you had stocks like, I know you were looking at AMD there, yeah, 120, but again, probably a good short, down 1.4. So another great short there at 116, 116.50, but you got to pull the trigger. Yeah, we are now $3 in the money everywhere, including Apple and the TQs right back down to the lows again as well. So these two trades will definitely carry the day for us here. You still got that Mara short, but I mean, these are the two big ones there for me anyways. Apple, because the only other trade we had was DJT, and we were able to get in and out of that one, make a little bit of money, then lose on that break, only for it to pop back up. DJT underneath 40. I think it's a short at that $40 marker there for DJT, but it's got to get back there. Like, it's just, we're really just resting on these two big trades, and I think that's the sort of the point of what we're doing here. You don't need to be in and out, in and out, in and out. If we can justify and talk about this, all of these shares combined, I mean, is quite a nice day. So there goes Apple, there goes the TQs. We'll just continue to play the short because that's what we wanted to do. We wanted the short, we took it, and so now we're doing that. So it's the TQs, it's a great short there. We got a 76 fill there, and we'll just keep on doing it. Join me tonight, hopefully with Brian Shannon on the Market Recap Show, and we'll discuss all of this.
Yeah, great. Well, always great to have Brian Shannon on, but especially when we get into earnings season.
Yes, sir.
As we're approaching some put up or shut up, right? The financials are going to come through first, but I think everyone's going to be interested in tech. For sure.
Okay,
so a couple of quick things in here.
I want to announce that it's going to be you.
Yeah, we just found out it's going to be the Kenobi is going to be filling in for Sharif on the midday. But Erna, we scalped it 77.5 to 83.5. So we end up getting, it's a penny stock. So when you have a relatively tight stop, I did stop out break even on this. It ran into the same selling at 82. It's kind of weird to see, but if you can see, this is 82. That's where it scalped into the 82 cent level. It broke 82, got up and had a whiff at 84. When it got back underneath 82, that same selling that I was talking about jumped right back in on the offer. So I threw a break-even stop in there just to make sure, hey, if they're selling it right in there, if it's going to be a 5-cent range scalp on a 70-cent stock, just take it. But the tape got heavy again at 82. So maybe allow it to get into VWAP this time. As I'm not sure, I'm not completely convinced this is done pulling back in there. So we got in when it broke trend, ran into some selling at the 82 cent level. Maybe it makes the run to $1 again, but I'm going to jump out of that one. We still have yet to get to VWAP on Mara. And like I said, I want to be patient with it. We're still holding on. AMD is right back at that low. Hasn't flat bottom broke. I have not gone back into this where we only have the one short on AMD up here off the 115, 116 half. Feel like if it makes another pop, you'd have to be breaking a long trend into a flat bottom. So I'm not going to short a level like this on advanced micro devices. I want to find something where you can play a little bit of catch up. And I just looked over at some of the other chip names, and you had mentioned Micron.
Yeah.
Load. We have like a few seconds to go. But Micron is doing the same thing. It's lower highs. I know it's up on the day, but it's lower highs and then at that VWAP level, which gives you something to work off of here. A bit of a tighter range with Micron. I don't want to be shorting lows at this time of day. I don't like taking top breaks at 11 o'clock into noon. I don't like taking shorts at the low of the day either. I'd rather work off something which gives me a VWAP trade. So Micron looking like that. But as we mentioned, we'll be back at 2 o'clock, but you got a special treat because joining Joey Options is going to be today Obi at the desk. So going to be a little bit of a lesson on VWAP. We love that indicator. So stick around, enjoy the show, and we'll see you back at 2. Uh-oh, Boeing delivery's out. Talk about it.
Hey, hey, what's going on, everybody?